Good evening, everybody. Welcome to, hold on a second. Okay, let me start over. I heard an echo on my computer because I'm also online here. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Hayward City Council. Welcome to City Hall. It's good to see everybody here. Today is certainly a special day. We'll get to that in a moment. But today is April 16th, 2024, and I'd like to adjourn open session. Next, I'd like to, before I go to roll call, or before I go to Pledge Allegiance, I'd like to announce, pursuant to Government Code Section 54953, the meeting will include a teleconference location at Crown Plaza, Times Square, Manhattan, 1605 Broadway, New York, New York, 10019. Wow. Council Member Bonilla Jr. will participate via teleconference. The agenda was posted at the agenda was posted at the teleconference location, and the public has an opportunity to address the city council. So if there's anybody in the Crown Plaza Hotel in New York, New York, stand in line. Public comments is coming. Okay, I said that for Councilmember Bonilla over there. I know he's laughing. So make sure, Councilmember Bonilla, can you hear us all the way from New York? Nice, thank you. All right, welcome. And then Councilmember Roach, if you can lead us to the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please rise if you're able.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam City Clerk, if you can please take the roll.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, good evening. Councilmember Andrews.
Present.
Councilmember Bonilla Jr.
Present.
Councilmember Goldstein.
Present.
Councilmember Roach.
Present.
Councilmember Syrup.
Present.
Councilmember Cermeño.
Presente.
Mayor Salinas.
Present, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. City Attorney, if you can give a closed session announcement, please.
Thank you, Mayor. At 5:30, the council convened in closed session with all members present, including Councilmember Bonilla, who is attending remotely. First, let me point out, I'm referring to the closed session posted agenda. The council did not reach the item posted as conference with property negotiators, the Route 238 parcel groups. The council discussed the other matters, including the cure and correct regarding the potential Brown Act violation, and the second matter involving pending litigation in the case of you versus the city of Hayward. As to those two matters, the council discussed and took no reportable action. The council discussed property negotiations involving Lord Tennyson Apartments, gave direction to staff, but otherwise took no reportable action. And then the council discussed potential litigation involving property located at 926 B Street, which is the location of the Dirty Bird Lounge, involving facts and circumstances that could give rise to litigation. The council discussed the matter, gave direction to staff, but otherwise took no reportable action. Sorry for the complicated report, Mayor, but that's it.
That's okay, thank you. Next, we have 3 special presentations. But what I'm going to do is we have the 2024 Earth Day Poster and Writing Contest Awards, and that is going to be pretty lengthy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first go to the National Crime Victims' Rights Week presentation, and then I'll go to the Arab American Heritage Month presentation. And I believe I saw our Alameda County District Attorney Pamela Price and Victims Witness Assistance Division Director Christina Molina. I believe they're here. Welcome. Step up forward, please. Yeah. And let's give our district attorney a big round of applause. Yeah. What I'll do is I'll read the proclamation, and then we'll walk down there, and I'll walk down there. We can take a picture, and let me go first, and then you can certainly say some words afterwards. Okay, so this month or this week is National Crime Victims' Rights Week, and here's the proclamation. Well, actually, let me see if I can. Yeah. There you go. Thank you. Okay. Whereas more than 26 million people become victims of crime each year, and these crimes also affect family members, friends, neighbors, and coworkers, and the Alameda County District Attorney's Victim Witness Division is dedicated to ensuring the rights of crime victims and their families by providing services to aid in their recovery from emotional, psychological, social, and economic impact of crime as they reclaim their sense of safety, well-being, and dignity. The DA's Victim Witness staff assists victims of crime without regard to a person's race, gender, religion, nationality, sexual orientation, and gender identity or immigration status. And whereas victims are faced with many challenges as a result of crime, oftentimes victims enter systems that fail to meet their needs, provide appropriate services, and fail to treat them with the dignity and respect they deserve. And involving survivors helps victims, service providers, and criminal justice professionals understand the culture, values, and expectations of underserved and unserved victims who seek assistance and justice. And whereas in 1984, the Crime Victims Fund was established by the Victims of Crime Act, VOCA, to provide a permanent source of support for crime victim services and compensation. Alameda County District Attorney's Office, Victim Witness Assistance Division partners with survivors, community service providers, criminal justice professionals, and victims and victim advocates to enhance a criminal justice system response that is accessible, culturally competent, and appropriate for all victims of crime. And whereas under DA Pamela Price's administration, the DA's Victim Witness Assistance Division, you know, Madam DA, that is quite a sentence. Assistance Division has become more diverse and multilingual and better represents the lived experiences of our diverse community while receiving a variety of culturally responsive and trauma-informed trainings. And whereas in 2023, the Alameda County District Attorney's Office served more than 22,500 survivors, provided over 60,000 services for victims and their families, and paid more than $750,000 in compensation and burial expenses, including but not limited to child victims of violence and sexual abuse, stalking victims, survivors of homicide victims, human trafficking, crimes against elders and dependent adults, sexual assaults, domestic violence, robbery, and other crimes. And for victims of crime without independent financial means, the District Attorney's Office facilitated financial support through the Victims Compensation Program. And whereas National Crime Victims Week, Victims' Rights Week, April 21 through 27, 2024, provides an opportunity to celebrate the energy, creativity, and commitment of advocates for victims' rights. Now, therefore, I, Mark Salinas, Mayor of the City of Hayward, on behalf of the City Council, do hereby proclaim the week of April 21st through 27th, 2024 as National Crime Victims Week. Ladies and gentlemen, let's please give this applause. And red means go.
Okay, let me go back over here. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you to the members of the City Council. We appreciate this proclamation on behalf of National Crime Victims' Rights Week and on behalf of the victims and the survivors of crime in Alameda County. We are very, very proud of what the District Attorney's Office has done in the last year. Ms. Christina Molina was appointed by me to serve as the director, first the interim director, and then ultimately the director of victim services. And many people don't realize that the Victim Witness Advocate Division is a part of the District Attorney's Office. It's a little known, often overlooked place that they work very hard. There are 44 advocates. And in the first year under Ms. Molina's leadership, we were able to substantially increase the number of advocates by 35% and to create an incredibly diverse workforce of advocates. We've hired now, our focus has been on making sure that the advocates reflect the community. And so we have hired advocates that speak Hmong, that speak Cantonese and Mandarin, that are indigenous advocates, that we hired our first transgender advocate. We hired more African American advocates, and they are available to come out to the community in addition to their day job. Their day job is that they go to court with victims of crime. They hold their hand in the worst moment. They provide information about the criminal justice process and services. Ms. Molina's team, she has a claims unit whereby we receive money from the state of California to make available to residents of Alameda County if they need psychological services, if they need sometimes housing, sometimes food, relocation expenses. We ultimately administer in the first year, we've paid out over $1 million in claims. Too often, I will tell you that those are burial claims. And it does break my heart every time I have to sign a check to help somebody bury their loved ones. And we try to humanize it by sending a letter of our condolences, something that I initiated last year when I realized that it's one thing to get a check from the DA's office, but it's also so much more impactful to know that the people who work in the Alameda County District Attorney's Office, we do care. We care about what happens to the people in this community. We care about people who have suffered sometimes the worst harm and loss. And we recognize how important it is to have advocates there with you who are trauma-informed, who bring a skill of having been in these situations, who understand the criminal justice process and can help you navigate that. And that's something that, fortunately, we've had, but was more important for us to expand that program and to make sure that we were doing it in a way that actually reflected the residents of Alameda County. So we're very proud of the work that Ms. Molina has done. She leads a very dedicated and now diverse team of advocates, and they are there every day. They get the call from police departments before I do. And so they are always on the ready. And then when it's appropriate, they do go out to different events and make sure that people know what the services are available through our office. So again, it's an honor to receive this proclamation. We appreciate so much the City of Hayward's recognition of this and your commitment to not only helping us to stop crime, but also to help us respond to crime when it does happen in all of our cities. So thank you very much. Ms. Molina, you want to speak? Yes.
Now, I just want to say that if you are a victim of a crime, we do have support for you. There are 5 different programs within Alameda County District Attorney's Office that can support you. We can provide income loss, relocation, support loss for your children if the head of the household was injured or killed. We have also mental health, medical care for you. So there are a lot of services. The first step is just to break the silence and report it to the police. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for bringing an important topic to the city. Thank you. Our next proclamation is an acknowledgement of Arab American Heritage Month, and we have 2 people who will be accepting the resolution today, or the proclamation. The American Association of Yemeni Students and Professionals, Amani Hassan. Is Amani here? Oh yeah, Amani. And then we also have our library director, Director Adelman, Jayanti Adelman. Oh, there she is. Okay. Yes. And then what I'll do is I'll read, and then I'll go down there. We'll take a picture, and then you may have a word or two. Okay? Yeah. Okay, so the proclamation reads, whereas Arab American Heritage Month began in 2017 to uplift Arab American contributions in the United States and celebrate a variety of cultures that enrich local and national communities, and whereas there are over 3.5 million Arab Americans living in the United States and dozens of nations in the Arab world representing cultures in the Middle East and Northern African, and the Middle East and Northern African, and whereas for every century, Arab Americans have been making valuable contributions to virtually every aspect of American society, including medicine, law, business, technology, government, and culture. And whereas in 2024, the theme of Arab American Heritage Month is celebrating Arab American resilience and diversity, and whereas many Arab American communities are connected to the pain and suffering of multiple armed conflicts across the Middle East and Northern African that led to forced displacement, destruction of vital resources, and attacks that harm civilians. And whereas the City of Hayward is committed to using an intersectional approach that framing racial equity initiatives, which accounts for issues like xenophobia and Islamophobia, in efforts to improve city processes, services, and projects. And whereas many local agencies are committed to supporting the lives and livelihoods of Arab American communities, including the American Association of Yemeni Students and Professionals, the AAYSP, which implements literacy programs for Arab and Muslim students and supports the development of culturally responsive lesson plans. And whereas the City of Hayward Economic Development Division consistently provides services, support, and financial assistance to Black, Indigenous, and people of color businesses, including a series of Arab American-owned businesses. And whereas the City of Hayward Public Library is recognizing Arab American Heritage Month with a Rags Sarki Arabic dance class led by an award-winning performer to pay tribute to the contributions of Arab Americans while promoting the livelihood of Arabic-speaking communities. Now, therefore, I, Mark Salinas, Mayor of the City of Hayward, on behalf of the City Council, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2024 as Arab American Heritage Month. Let's give them a big round of applause. Yeah, absolutely.
Hello, everyone. My name is Amani Hassan, and I'm a Yemeni American woman. I serve as AAYSP, short for the American Association of Yemeni Students and Professionals Program Manager, and this is my program coordinator. Sorry.
Hi everyone, my name is Aisha Homran. I'm the program coordinator for AAYSP.
So AAYSP is short for the American Association of Yemeni Students and Professionals. So our literacy program is called Ta'allam, which means learn in Arabic. So our program works alongside OUSD's Office of Equity, where we're able to continue targeted literacy initiatives to lift up Arab, Farsi, and Pashto speaking students. And increasing literacy rates. AAYSP has been able to build strong partnerships to run their literacy programs under OUSD and expanded learning after school programs. We serve at 3 sites currently during the day literacy and after school programming. And the things that we are engaged in at the sites are chai hours, where every week, once a month at each site, we do chai hours with parents, family engagement, where families are able to express needs or concerns that they're feeling like in their schools or with their children and how we can best support them. And we do literacy nights where we have bigger events that allows families and students to understand the importance of literacy. And during Arab Heritage Month, we do read-ins, which we go into each site and we do, it's led by our AAYSP mentors where we hold, we do culturally responsive read-ins where we plan a lesson around a book that relates to Arab Heritage Month, and we hold performances at each site where people come in and perform like Arab dances and show our culture. So thank you, and sorry, this is my first time public speaking, so I'm very nervous. So thank you all.
Thank you, Mayor Salinas, members of the City Council. On behalf of all of us at Hayward Public Library, I'd really like to thank you for this, and we're really proud of being able to share and honor all of the cultures in our community. I really encourage all of you, don't just pay lip service to this. This is Arab American Heritage Month. Just think about, try to take the chance to find out about some famous Arab Americans in our culture, especially in this time of xenophobia and Islamophobia. You'd be surprised, and I'm just going to surprise you and say there are people like Steve Jobs, Salma Hayek. There are musicians from my generation like Frank Zappa, Paul Anka, and then there are just a lot of people you'd be surprised to find out who actually claim Arab American heritage. So really take a moment to honor that, honor this month, and come join us at the library to celebrate. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. And I also wanted to acknowledge our our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer, Josephine Ayankoya, for her work on proclamations and your editing and getting everything organized. So thank you very much. So let's give Josephine a big round of applause. Okay, I believe now we're on to the main event. The main event, right? All right. Let me, actually, I'm going to go down there and then yeah, you guys can go. This is always a fun, this is always a fun event because I believe there's prizes, there's gift cards, there's checks, right? Great, all right. And there's certificates. Before I get started, I wanted to acknowledge our council members that sit on the council's sustainability committee. They are the ones, they are council's designee to the committee, and that's Council Member Angela Andrews, Council Member Julie Roach, and of course, Council Member Francisco Cermeño. So let's give all three of my colleagues a big round of applause. And I know Eric Pearson is in the room, who's in charge of all things environmental in the city. So Mr. Pearson, let's give Mr. Pearson a big round of applause. And I'm sure Mr. Pearson will be up here momentarily also. So good evening, and by the way, staff had to write these notes for me, so bear with me while I do this. So slide one, okay, there you go. Good evening, everybody. This next item on the evening's agenda is the City of Hayward's annual Student Earth Day Poster and Writing Contest Awards presentation. I'd like to offer a warm welcome to all of the winners and their families that are here this evening. And I see a lot of kids here, so let's give all the kids a big round of applause. Yeah. And I'd also like to also welcome all of our teachers and thank them for their work and all of their support. And I'll never forget, absolutely. I'll never forget one of my professors in college. She said, "Remember, teachers are the essential occupation." Teachers are the essential occupation. So this year's posters, essays, and poems submitted to the city shows students' creativity and enthusiasm about Earth Day, which we look forward to celebrating this Saturday, April 20th. The Earth Day Poster and Writing Contest is a significant part of the city's Earth Day campaign, and this is our 41st year of Hayward's history celebrating this. We've been doing this for 41 years, and you've been here every one of those years, huh? 41 years. We made Earth Day cool before Earth Day was cool. I'm just saying. This year, the city of Hayward will be hosting its annual citywide cleanup on Saturday, April 20th at Weeks Park. We invite residents to come together to collect litter in various neighborhoods throughout the city, and then stay to have lunch provided by El Taquito, and visit the community fair, which will feature sustainability organizations with family-friendly activities. And to register, you can go to that QR code, or you can also go online and register there. And it's important to register because if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Pearson, when you register, we want to make sure we have enough hot dogs and hamburgers for you, right? So are we having hot dogs and hamburgers this year? No, tacos. So we got to make sure we have enough tacos, right? All right, okay, great. This year we had 487 entries from 42 Hayward schools. And I want to thank all of the students for their participation and Hayward teachers for encouraging their students to use their imagination and engage their students about the importance of the environment, conservation, and helping to make our community greener and more sustainable for everybody. I would also like to thank our environmental services staff who make this event possible every year, including Eric Pierce, McKenna Colucci, Jeff Crump, Eric Pearson, Elise Pierce, Eric Pearson, and Linda Coe. So let's give all of our staff a big round of applause. Finally, I want to thank our judges from the Hayward Arts Council who evaluated and selected our winners. Christelle Johnson, where's Christelle at? Christelle Johnson, is she here? Christelle? No? She's not here? Okay. Christelle Johnson. Rui Syrup. Wait. Oh, there you go. There you go. Yes. Pam Gard. Where's Pam? Ms. Gard? Yes, of course, Ms. Gard. Ann Maloney Mason. Is Ann here? And then let's give Ann a big round of applause. And then Julie Barrett. Is Julie here? Julie Barrett. Now, I would like to turn the presentation over to my colleagues, Councilmember Roach, and the chair of the Council Sustainability Committee, Councilmember Andrews and Cermeño. Councilmember Andrews and Cermeño are also members of the Sustainability Committee. So with no further ado, it is my honor and privilege to introduce to you Councilmember Roach.
Thank you, and I'm inviting my colleague and fellow mom in the district. We thought the moms would do this part. Okay, that's great, yeah. As the mayor mentioned, this is our 41st annual Earth Day campaign. Each year, Hayward's residents demonstrate their strong commitment to maintaining a clean and green community. We can each do our part every day by picking up litter when we see it, not wasting water, turning off the lights when we aren't in a room, which I follow my kids around every day, turning lights off, and many other small actions that add up. This year's annual Earth Day poster and writing contest includes entries on water and energy conservation, renewable energy, recycling and composting, a litter-free environment, and environmental justice. The contest is an important part of our celebration of Earth Day and our Cleanup Days campaign because it gives students and teachers an opportunity to describe through words and convey through images their commitment to a more sustainable environment. And now it is my pleasure to, I know this is what you're all waiting for anyway, to announce the winners of this year's Earth Day poster and writing contest. Family members are invited to come up and take a picture as your child receives the award. Each of our winners will receive a gift card that can be used at a variety of stores in Hayward. Second place winners will receive a $150 gift card, and first place winners will receive a $200 gift card. The gift card is attached to the back of your frame certificate when you get it. I'd like to remind all the student winners to stay until the end of the presentation for a chance to win one of 2 bonus prizes. So please stick around after you get your certificate. We will present the awards starting with the youngest students and ending with the high school students. So I'll start. So council members, do you want to start with the youngest students? If you want to come up and, do you want to come up and read the winner? Or do you want me to go ahead? Okay. Yep.
That's okay.
From the top? Yeah, from here, from slide 7.
Okay. Hello, everyone. So the first place winner is Jazita Wright. Jazita Wright. And this is for the first grade writing category.
Wow, one more over here.
Here you go, babe. Do you want to go?
Do you want to come up right here and we'll take a picture?
Yeah. Right there. There you go. There you go. Luciana? Okay. For the kindergarten through 1 first grade poster category, the second place winner is Luciana Umbarila from Cherryland. Where's Luciana? All right.
Congratulations.
Okay,
You want
okay,
to come
now
up here
you
and take a
hold
picture
this.
with your family?
Okay, hold that, okay. In the back. One more.
Okay, let's see. Okay, let's see. So the first place winner for the poster category for the kindergarten through first grade category is Junzi. Wait, see, yeah, Junzi who from Lauren Eden Elementary School. Got it. Okay. Go ahead, Angela. All right, so read this link.
So for the second through third grade writing category, the second place winner is Jalen Barede from Treeview Elementary. Is it Barde?
Her desk is, there you go. Second grade through third grade writing category, and the first place winner is Michelle Jelani from Fairview Elementary. All right. Very congratulations.
Congratulations.
Okay, one more handshake over there. And this is yours. Okay. Okay, she's next.
Yep.
Slide 12, right? Okay, let's see, moving on. For the second through third grade poster category, the second place winner is Angela Lee from Yuming Art Studio. Cheers, Angela. Oh, that's you.
Hello. Congratulations. And there's one more over there. One more handshake.
And first place winner is Yu-Chin Lee from Yuming Art Studio.
Put it there. Congratulations. Oh, one more? One more?
Oh,
One- Yeah, one more right there. Right here. Fourth through fifth grade writing category. Second place winners Cornell Brumfield from East Avenue Elementary. All right. All right. Way to go. Way to go.
Rock the bells.
One more. And this is yours. Okay. Photo. Mm-hmm.
We're in, which one? Oh, okay, Camila, let's see. Camila, okay,
Yeah.
this one. Okay, let's see. For the fourth through fifth grade writing category, the first place winner is Camila Garcia from Cherryland Elementary School. Here.
For the fourth through fifth grade poster category, the second place winner is Callan Gorley from St. B Catholic School.
Congratulations. Same beats. All right. One more. No. And fourth through fifth grade poster category, we have Jimmy Sue from UN Art Studio. Yeah, Art Studio is pretty good. Congratulations. Two more. Mm-hmm. Here you go.
Corbin, let's see, where am I? Thank you. Thank you. For the sixth through eighth grade writing category, the second place winner is Corvin Vo from Southgate Elementary School.
And the first place winner is Camila Ortiz from East Avenue Elementary School.
Muy bien, Camila, muy bien. Sixth through eighth grade, poster category. And we have the second place winner, Betty Chen from Yoiming Art Studio. There she is. Congratulations on the two more over there.
See here. Okay, this is for the 6th through 8th grade poster category. The first place winner is Miranda Zhang from Cross Point Academy. Oh, it's the teacher. All right, congrats. All right.
For the high school writing category, the second place winner is Varun Nair from Hayward High School. Mayor.
Go Farmers.
Congratulations. Here you go.
And high school writing category, first place winner is Brian Garcia from Hayward High School. All right. Go Farmers.
Congratulations.
Go Farmers.
Yes. Two more handshakes. Full house.
Where am I? Let's see, Sophie. For the high school poster category, oh, sorry, please, are you taking pictures still? No, I apologize. Okay, let's see. So for the high school poster category, the second place winner is Sophie Espinozo from Hayward High School.
Go farmers.
All right, first place winner, Joyce Mayo from Mind Art Studio.
Congratulations.
Oh, one more. Oh, the teacher. That's a famous teacher.
Congratulations to all the students. Okay, as our resident teacher, Councilmember Zermania, do you want to do this part? For the teachers?
Councilmember Zermania, before you proceed, I just wanted to announce to all the students, don't leave afterwards, because I'm going to take a 5-minute break and we'll take one big group photo up here in the front. So, yeah, that's after the bonus. That's, I'm not going to interrupt the bonus prizes.
As a teacher myself, and as our mayor is also a faculty member, I'm pleased to read the following. Now we would like to acknowledge some of Hayward's finest teachers. Okay, thank you for encouraging your students to participate in the event and help them along the way. Every teacher with a first place poster or writing winner will receive a $100 gift certificate to be spent in Hayward only. Okay, each teacher with a second place winner will receive a $75 gift certificate to be spent in Hayward only. These gift cards can be used at a variety of stores in Hayward. If you're attending virtually, we will mail you your gift card to you after the ceremony.
Thank you. We will recognize the teachers of writing category winners. We ask that you remain standing near the mayor. So I think the mayor needs to be done. So you'll remain standing near the mayor until all of the teachers have been recognized, and then a photo will be taken. Would the following teachers please come forward to accept their gifts? And I'm going to just read them as lists, and I think the mayor, there, good, the mayor's coming down. Inian Leung from California Crosspoint Academy. No, okay. Mrs. Thompson from Fairview Elementary School. And if you'll stay standing with the mayor, and then we're going to take a group shot afterwards. Marcelina Schelling from Treeview Elementary School. Mrs. Lindell from Cherryland Elementary School. Jeffrey Liu from East Avenue Elementary School. Miss Del Sonar from Southgate Elementary School. Elaine Bird from Hayward High School. And Mr. Hernandez from Hayward High School. Congratulations to these teachers. Please give them another round of applause. Oh, let's see, is it Tifa Zahn? Or Tita Zahn? Oh, sorry, that was, thank you. Okay, yeah, because there's the next, okay.
They just added.
Okay. Okay, so now we're taking a picture, and then we're going to move on to the poster winners for the teachers. Do you want to do this part? Okay. Yeah, when you're done. The pictures,
We will now recognize the teachers of the poster winners. Okay, with the following teachers, please come forward to accept their gift card. Again, we ask that you remain standing near the mayor until all teachers have been recognized and photo taken. So, Yu Chuan Pan from Yue Ming Art Studio, please. Hai Jing Hu from Yue Ming Art Studio. Not here. Okay. Ming Liang from the Yue Ming Art Studio. Milet Satarai from Lord Inn Elementary. That's my neighborhood. Miss G from Cherryland. Miss Harata from St. Bede's School. Not here. Cecilia Fu from Mind Art Studio. Miss Ganesh from Hayward High School. Congratulations to all our teachers for their hard work and dedication. And join the party. Okay. Who's taking photos?
Yeah. Congratulations to all our teachers for their hard work and dedication. Okay, and now the good part. We will now, more good news, we will now draw names of students for this year's 2 bonus prizes of $200 each. One basket contains names of all poster winners, and the other basket contains names of all writing winners. I will now ask the mayor to draw one name from each basket.
First, the poster.
Well, we're just drawing 2. There's one poster winner, one writing winner.
So this is the poster winner?
Yep.
Y'all have your, oh wait. Oh, the names are on the ticket. Oh, okay. Luciana? Where's right here? Okay, this is it's very heavy because it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. All right, here, look right over there. Here, we'll take a picture right here. Okay. You ready? Corwin Vu. Nice. Here, look right here, right there. Wait, well, hold on, I gotta go over here. Okay, there you go. This concludes the award ceremony. I wanted to congratulate, let's give all the kids a big round of applause. Absolutely. And all the teachers. Congratulations to all the students, and thank you to all of the families and friends for attending today in person or virtually, because I'm sure there's some folks that are watching us on Zoom or on YouTube. We want to also once again encourage all the teachers, and we want to encourage their students to participate or to celebrate and acknowledge all of their winning students. You are irreplaceable assets to your schools and to this community, and we want to thank you for all of your hard work. Teachers, students, and their families are now invited to a reception that will be taking place in the Rotunda. And so again, I wanted to say thank you. I wanted to invite everybody downstairs to the Rotunda. But before you go out, I wanted to call all the students and teachers, and if we could all huddle up right here. The council will be, well, either down here. Yeah, the council can come down here. Yeah. Anyways, let's get all the kids, all the students and teachers. Let's all kind of huddle up here, and then we'll have somebody take a picture from over there.
Yeah, I guess everyone you can fill in.
I think put it in the back.
Yeah, we'll definitely put it back. You guys can come back here too if you want and fill in this area.
Tall guys in the,
You should be in the front. Hey, you're a winner.
yeah, right up front. There you go. Maybe parents in the back or something.
Maybe all the kids up front, the parents back here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Feel free to come back here if parents want to get in here too.
Yeah. There you go. Right there, right there. 6'4".
All right, everyone come in. You guys come in this way.
Come in closer. Make yourself skinny.
Yeah, you guys come in here with their certificates.
Councilmember Bonilla, can you speak so I could put you onto the large screen?
Yeah. Yes, can you hear me?
Perfect, thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Congratulations, everyone.
Recording stopped.
Future of democracy. Yeah, I would hope, you know.
Oh my God, I was sweating doing that.
I know it got warm. It got warm. Where's
Recording in progress.
Where's Councilmember Syrup? Yeah. Well, we'll proceed and then we'll work slow. Okay. Oh, there he is. Okay, good. It's okay. Okay. I'd like to reconvene the meeting at 8:16. Next, I'd like to go to public comments, and this is reserved for anybody who would like to make a public comment on something that is not on the agenda. And I want to first go to our first caller online, TJ from Hayward Concerned Citizens.
Hi, good evening, Council. I'm TJ with Hayward Concerned Citizens, and I wanted to first put in a plug for our Hayward Animal Shelter and its week of recognition and for its officers for all of their community efforts. I ask that you please support expanding their preventative services like affordable spaying and neutering to help control our feral populations. I wanted to also express HCC's appreciation to Council for its first Public Safety Committee meeting last week, as well as the reports from Fire Chief Contreras and Police Chief Matthews. I hope that future meetings can be more widely publicized and include a live broadcast option on YouTube. And last, my own PSA on public safety. I'm sure most of you are aware from our next door community that there was another recent incident of attempted vehicle theft, and this was in the Fairway Park neighborhood. 2 suspects in a stolen car were confronted by the owner of the truck they were in process of stealing, and one of them shot at him. Then they hit him as they escaped the scene. The victim thankfully had only minor injuries, but we're seeing an uptick of these violent crimes in Hayward.
You all guys ready for bed then?
Please don't try to. Sorry, there's some interference there in the background.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Anyway, I was just going to say the victim thankfully had only minor injuries, but we are seeing an uptick of these violent crimes in Hayward. Please don't try to confront these people. It rarely ends well, and stolen property is not worth risking your life over. I also encourage making a police report whenever something like this happens. You may think there's not a lot the police can do after the fact, but they track the area and frequency of these events to concentrate on the hot spots where crimes occur. They also have block cameras now that can pick up on the license plates of vehicles involved in these cases to work on solving the ones they can. So thank you, and let's all stay safe and aware out there.
Thank you. Our I'd like to then return here in the room. Our first person here in the chamber is Marianne. Is it Reno or Rico? Yeah, Reno. Oh yes. Hi. I know who you are.
Yes. Well, good evening. I just want to give a little bit of history here. On April 4th, 1968, we suffered the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King. And exactly 1 week later, on April 11th, 1968, President Johnson signed the Fair Housing Act into law, which prohibits discrimination in housing. As a result, April is Fair Housing Month. However, before all this happened, here in Hayward, a group of citizens got together to fight housing discrimination. They formed the Eden Council for Hope and Opportunity, or ECHO, housing. And in the 1965 and stuff, they did things like set up picket lines outside of realtors that they found were redlining and discriminating. Well, since then, ECHO Housing is still here, still providing service. We're providing a lot of other services besides fighting housing discrimination. And we are having an open house this Thursday at our office here in downtown Hayward on 2nd Street, which will give everybody a chance to meet our staff and our board. I'm on the board of ECHO Housing. And also you meet the counselors, see what services we have, what we do, and an opportunity to get to know us and what we do in the community. So I have some flyers here I'd like to leave, and I invite everybody to come to our open house this Thursday from 4 to 6.
Yeah, you can leave one to city clerk, but yeah. Yeah, it's interesting you bring up President Johnson, because he also was the one that signed the Civil Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act, the Immigration Act, and of course the Bilingual Education Act of 1965. So
Yes.
thank you for bringing President Johnson to the chamber tonight.
Okay. So hope to see everybody down at our open house, and we'll have food and refreshments and raffle prizes, and it's a big social get to know us.
Wonderful, thank you.
Can you just share the address and time for the public's information?
For the information, it's at the ECHO office, which is at 22551 2nd Street, Suite 200. That's on the corner. It's in the building it's at B and 2nd Street, that building, up on the 2nd floor from 4 to 6 this Thursday.
And just so that you know, if you don't see any of the council members and me there, it's because on Thursday at the same time, we have the big Hearts of Hayward event here in the chamber celebrating all the volunteers of the city.
Okay, but you can send your family members and friends to us. Yes, and they can tell you all about ECHO.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And ECHO has done and continues to do a lot of great work, so thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Our next speaker from Jeffrey Hammond from Keep Hayward Clean and Green. Mr. Hammond, step right up. Is this just public comment, or did you want to speak regarding the committee arrangements? Kind of. Yeah, then let's hold your comments to the committee, to that item on the agenda, and then I'll call you then. Perfect. That's item 6, right? Yeah. Okay. And then I'd like to call upon Josue Barrera. Josue from the Hayward Youth Commission. And of course, are you guys, is this a general public comment, or are you speaking specifically regarding the arrangement of the Youth Commission as a commission? Okay, then hold up until that item comes, and I'll call you guys back up. Okay. Okay. Thank you for that. We just cleared that. Okay, so I'd like to close public comment and then move on to our city manager's comments. And I don't believe this is your last city manager's comments, but
That would be next week.
next week will be the last one. Okay. All right. So you may proceed.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Yes, two official meetings and one special meeting left to go. I have a couple of comments this evening that I wanted to highlight. We are starting to promote an upcoming People's Budget project, which is called Homegrown in Hayward. We're very excited about that, so please look out for social media and a Stack Extra newsletter about it. This is scheduled to take place on Saturday, April 27th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Bidwell Park. The event will provide our residents with educational sessions led by master gardeners, along with interactive activities suitable for all ages, including terracotta pot painting and seed ball making. In addition, we will give away 600 plants and 600 compost bags to participants, because we know how popular compost giveaway is, and that will promote the adoption of green practices in your own backyard. Also have a food truck vendor that will serve 300 free meals to community members that participate. So this was all part of the People's Budget projects, which is very exciting. So I wanted to share that. And again, it's Homegrown in Hayward, Saturday, April 27th from 11 to 3 p.m. at Bidwell Park. And then, as you heard earlier, in honor of Earth Day, the city will be hosting its annual citywide cleanup day on Saturday, April 20th. We'll be at Weeks Park from 8:30 a.m. until 1 p.m. We invite residents to come celebrate Earth Day and help collect litter in various neighborhoods throughout the city. Then stay and have another free lunch provided by El Taquito and visit the community fair. I know, free lunches everywhere. It will feature sustainability organizations with family-friendly activities, so we hope you join us at Weeks Park on Saturday, April 20th from 8:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. And those are my comments this evening. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Our next item are the action items, and this is for our consent calendar, items 1 through 5, and nobody has asked to have an item pulled, so I will entertain a motion.
I'll move the items.
Moved by Councilmember Andrews.
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Goldstein. And if there are no objections, it will, do we need to vote per, yeah, okay. Tonight we need to vote per person because we have Councilmember Bonilla not here, or he's online at least. So Madam City Clerk, you can go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilmember Andrews?
Aye.
Councilmember Bonilla Jr.?
Aye.
Councilmember Goldstein?
Aye.
Councilmember Roach?
Aye.
Councilmember Sarah?
Aye.
Councilmember Cermeño?
Yes.
Mayor Salinas?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Then we'll move on to our work session. Our first work session item is item number 6, which is the council-appointed officials review of roles and commissions and task force. And I believe the report will be kicked off by City Manager Youngblood.
Actually, we're going to turn it over to Assistant to the City Manager, Mary Thomas, who is going to do the PowerPoint presentation, and then we will be available to answer questions.
Nice. Thank you.
Thank you. So I have just a few brief slides tonight on this, and you guys received a staff report that provided some additional detail. I'm not going to go into all that detail tonight, but in short, you have 5 active commissions and 1 active task force that are appointed by the council. And we provided a series of existing documents for you to look through if you're interested. We wanted to mention that the city charter explicitly calls out roles for planning and the personnel board, they call it, personnel commission. The municipal code calls out roles for planning, personnel, library, and community services. And then a spattering of the different commissions and task forces have mission statements, which we provided. And then there are 2 commissions that have bylaws. And one of the reasons that we're bringing this here tonight is because as part of the council handbook changes in November, there was a requirement for council to approve bylaws. So we wanted to start that conversation. So based on council conversation over the last 2 years, there's been a number of issues that have been identified that could maybe help clarify and the roles of the city's boards and commissions, and I think that's why council wanted to have this conversation. Staff is recommending tonight that council create an ad hoc committee to discuss those items as they were summarized in the staff report and to bring recommendations back to council at a future meeting. This could also include any revisions to the council-appointed handbook as needed. For tonight, the one sort of sensitive item, time-sensitive item that would impact upcoming recruitment is if council has any feedback on the number of members on the commissions. So as we stated in the staff report, there's varying numbers of members, and some commissions have, there's one that has 17 and one that has 20, and so if council wanted to have any discussion tonight about that, then we would prompt staff to kind of look into what we need to do for the recruitment process. Other than that, I'm happy to answer any questions about these other items, but again, staff is recommending that council form an ad hoc committee. So next steps, if council agrees with the forming of an ad hoc committee, we've got a typo here, then staff will work with the mayor on making appointments to that. And then two, if council has any feedback on recruitment process, we'll work on that. Handing it back to you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. So this is a work session, so what I'll do is I'll go to public comments first, and then I'll resume here up on the dais. Our first public commenter is a member of our esteemed Hayward Youth Commission, and that's Josue Barrera. Flanked by his fellow commissioners.
Well, good afternoon, Mayor Salinas and fellow council members. My name is Josue Barrera, and I've been a Hayward Youth Commissioner for the past 2 years already. I would recommend the Hayward Youth Commission to any youth member in the city of Hayward that's interested in looking for a way to be active or give back to the community. As I don't know if you guys might know, but here in the Youth Commission, we work with 3 other we work with HARD, the city itself, and the Hayward Unified School District. In the end, our goal is always to try to make sure we make the best decisions for our community, and I hope I leave the floor tonight leaving you guys with in mind that to join the Youth Commission. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Alicia Saenz and I'm the Vice Chair of the Hayward Youth Commission. I've been a part of the commission for 3 years and I encourage youth in the city to join because it's an amazing opportunity to gain leadership experience, meet new people, and work with organizations such as HARD and other government programs to make Hayward a better place for the youth. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Phyllis and I'm currently the chair of the Hayward Youth Commission, and I'm just here to support my fellow peers. And I also think if you know anyone who would be willing to be a part of the Hayward Youth Commission, please let them join, because I've met so many amazing people, I've done so many amazing things, and I've made wonderful friendships because of the Hayward Youth Commission. And I think it is one of the most amazing programs out there. And I'm glad to be a part of it. And I think if you know someone that is capable and willing to be a part of the Youth Commission, please encourage them to join. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
If you are interested in joining, we're going to leave papers on the right here with the QR code if you're interested in applying and what are the criteria to join. And to anybody watching us online, you could contact the city clerk to the left right here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And the Hayward Youth Commission would be proud to know that there are 2 members of the City Council that have been youth commissioners. Councilmember Angela Andrews, I believe Carson City Youth Commission, and City of Carson Youth Commission, and then of course our none other Councilmember Ray Bonilla, who was a youth commissioner back in 1962.
And I created the structure that enables leadership on the Youth Commission, so that's why we have chairs and vice chairs today. So thank you for those comments, and I too encourage any youth in Hayward to get involved in municipal government through involvement in the Hayward Youth Commission. It's a very profound group that's doing very important work that impacts the future of our city, which is our youth.
Yeah, and you were one of the founders, right, Councilmember Bonilla?
Not the founder of the Youth Commission, but the structure that provides leadership.
Okay, yeah.
So I was the very first chair of the Youth Commission in Hayward.
Oh, nice. See, there you go. Nice. Well, good. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Our next comment is Douglas Mansell.
Mayor and, oops, we're going to do this. Mayor and council members, I'm going to be very brief because I know I have other colleagues speaking from the Keep Hayward Clean and Green Task Force. Just wanted to point out that I support keeping the task force going. Provides just a great benefit for the city. Really an amazing benefit. Not only the cleanups, but really which benefits the city in terms of cleaning up the trash that's around the place, but also the pride that builds with the community members that get together to do that. And then, not to mention like the service hours they get provided to the students that were here. And by the way, we've got a great future given all the students we had here today. That was fantastic. And then the last thing I wanted to point out is just the task force also does a lot of work at the street fairs on education. And we answer a lot of questions about recycling and even how to walk people through how to use Access Hayward. Anyway, really encourage you to keep the task force. It's a great group, and thank you for listening to us. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Tom Ferreira.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Council. My name's Tom Ferreira. I'm the Vice Chair of the Hayward Clean and Green. I appreciate you guys listening to us. Good evening to everybody. I'm speaking to you tonight to advocate and support Hayward Clean and Green Task Force, which has given us 17 years in Hayward supporting our residents, our wonderful residents. We also do our education, educate people to provide sustainable green planet for generations to come in the future, but also providing the tools to make that happen. We provide garbage bags, grabbers, gloves, but we also, with our Adopt a Block program, we also encourage neighbors to sign up for Adopt a Block, and which actually I have a little sample here. Anybody could sign up for the Adopt a Block program here. We got almost 200 Adopt a Blocks. So we have 1,500 more streets to go. So we could do this. I also appreciate Mayor Salinas' Adopt a Block. Every time I go home from work, I travel by it, and it's a good, positive message. Keep it neat in the street. So, that was a good one.
and I did not come up with that.
You didn't come up with that?
That was the Keep Hayward Clean and Green tagline. Keeping it neat to the street.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that was good. I like that. But also, if anybody's interested in Adopt a Block program, come see me. I could give you the information and get you activated. We also, we also love to share and educate about recycling, planting, reusing materials. Many of our venues, such as the Richard Valle Science in the Park at Cal State East Bay every year, we really enjoy that, teaching the young how to do things better for the future. Also, our Earth Day event at Weeks Park, that's coming up this week, 8:30 to 1. Anybody that could come out, it's going to be a great event. Planting 14 trees in the park. We're going to have a climbing wall, if anybody wants to do a climbing wall. We could also, but some vendors will be giving away aluminum straws, reusable aluminum straws, reusable folding utensils that you could reuse. Just keeping it more green for everybody. We also do our education at the airport. The airport open house that we had last year was a record-breaking number. Almost 9,000, the airport director said, came to that event. So really great, getting the word out about everything. We also help educate at 3 Hayward Chamber of Commerce street parties every year. So that's also another great event to get the word out. Some of the other programs we also do is a Beautiful Yard Contest. It really brings out the greatness of Hayward. We recognize the
Mr.
great.
Ferreira,
Yeah.
you're all out of time.
Oh, shoot. Sorry. Well, I appreciate a hard Cal State East Bay and 100,000 trees for the 1,500 trees we do every year. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Our next speaker is Melissa Milliman. Hopefully I said that right. Yes, you did. Oh, okay.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. First, I just want to say thank you for giving us time to talk about this. And yes, Keep Hayward Clean and Green. I joined it 4 years ago, and honestly, it's been a great experience. And one thing that I learned is that our city of Hayward, you guys are so accessible, and that is something that was very surprising to me and really wonderful. So thank you for always coming out to events and supporting us. So obviously, in reading the agenda and finding out about the different options, the 3 options now for Keep Hayward Clean and Green, did create, I'm going to be honest, some concern. Because since obviously I actually joined right after the COVID shutdown. And so the first year we really didn't get to do much. So it's been interesting to see how we have brought programs back, really created, have learned, and are recovering from that situation as our city is as a whole. So we definitely have these programs that are going now, and it seems that it's gotten good responses. So I really would hate to see those reduced to not being active anymore, because we are doing a lot more than just picking up trash now. You know, you definitely have a dedicated group of people that are that care about Hayward. And yeah, I can also just want to say that I would, can understand from the city's perspective that as we do more, that creates more work for staff. And we just want to, some guidance from you as to how we can move forward and continue doing the good work that we're doing. So I appreciate you hearing that, and thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Jeffrey Hammond. The chair of the Keep Hayward Clean and Green, correct?
Well, thank you very much for your consideration. Hello, my name is Jeffrey Hammond, and I'm the chair of the Keep Hayward Clean and Green Task Force. As we move away from the coronavirus shutdown, the task force, under new leadership, veteran support, and new members, have been building momentum in addressing all aspects of our 3-part mission statement. Our mission statement, which precedes my 6.5 years on the task force, is to preserve the environment and enhance the visual appearance of the city of Hayward through the joint efforts of individuals, volunteer groups, businesses, and municipal resources. Our focus is on holding community cleanup events. We are now collaborating with HARD to attract more volunteers, and we are creating innovative ways to include more neighborhood volunteers at our events. Education and marketing. We already have and will be soon presenting at the Hayward schools on recycling, organics, landfill, and storm drain to bay maintenance. And helping to influence green and clean policy. We help to initiate the camera system to help curb illegal dumping, and we are creating letters of support to help the council enact green and clean policies. In addition, we assist in maintaining the Adopt a Block program. Check out our video segment on KHRT. We table at city street parties and other city events. We have initiated the Senior Yard Assistance Program and the Beautiful Yard Recognition Program. And at this time, we have one of the best group of task force members since I started with the task force many years ago. Your task force is knowledgeable in recycling, native plants, trees, plastics, and many other green and clean issues. They are dedicated. The majority of our task force now are at 100% attendance, and all are involved with one or more of our ad hoc committees. and they are motivated. Many of us spend countless thankless hours preparing and improving on every aspect of our mission statement. It is my hope that the City Council will continue to support us fully and to continue to let us grow. Please take advantage of the many talented people we have on the task force. We are here to help. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Jesse Gunn.
All right. Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Jesse Gunn, and I'm a Community Services Commissioner. I wanted to thank Council for looking at this topic, and I wholeheartedly agree that our commissions need some guidance and direction. I also believe that staff time is extremely important, and without limitations or protocol, we could put at risk the implementation of many sound policies that Council has approved. I've said this before being appointed, and I've said it during commission meetings, and I'll say it again tonight. For the CSC, our priority has to be the funding process. That's the most important thing that we could be doing. However, and this is a good however, you have some passionate volunteers who are willing to put forth their efforts, who care deeply about improving their neighborhoods and their city, and who have lived experiences that directly speak to the needs of Hayward residents. I see this as a teacher who teaches our newcomer population, who is actively recruiting people into the Hayward Youth Commission, who has acknowledging the many contributions of the many commissions that we have here. I am hoping that Council creates a mechanism, not just for CSC, but for all commissions and task forces to seek permission and tackle problems within the city, and that align with Council priorities, and to remain an advisory body that can and should research and make recommendations to Council, even when Council hasn't necessarily asked for those recommendations. A little over a week ago, I had the chance to watch the amazing documentary, The Apology. I was not part of the CSC when that initial recommendations came forward. However, I am extremely proud of my hometown for having the courage and integrity to do what they did and make that formal apology. Some of the proposed recommendations before you, if enacted 4 years ago, would have prevented that recommendation from even being made. You have a few dozen amazing volunteer commissioners and task force members, and I urge you to see them as assets to Council-prescribed direction and advocates that can be utilized to make Hayward better. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Mr. Colin Thermoto.
Hello, my name is Colin Thormoto, and I'm the parliamentarian of the Community Services Commission. Before I start, I want to apologize for not attending the April 2nd meeting and thank Commissioner Calvin Wong for answering questions in my place. Having a reliable team means we can still function even when some of us run into conflicts. I sent an email outlining my thoughts on the staff proposal in detail, and I trust that some of you at least have been able to read it in part. I'm here instead to encourage the Council to remember that these commissions and task forces are more than their charges and mission statements. They're a place for our community leaders to step up their responsibility to our city. Several of the proposals involved limiting the scope of these bodies, reining them in and narrowing their focus. If these bodies were unable to meet their obligations, allocating funding, developing library policy, or organizing cleanup events, then that would make perfect sense. If a body is overburdened with work or overly disorganized and not able to meet the city's needs, then a reduced scope is wholly justified. But that's not what I've seen, nor what the staff report outlines. What I've seen instead is a group of community volunteers who want to take a more active role in their government, and it would only benefit the city to take advantage of that energy. These people want to work, and they want to make a difference. Obviously, having focus is important for any meeting body. It's the nature of government to have specialized bodies with expertise that provide important context and recommendations to the Council. But when members of our community express a desire to play a bigger role in their government, will you pull back or will you grow the next generation of civic leaders? What would it be like if the CSC operated as a public forum for community issues and developed policy directly informed by members of the community in conversation with each other? Or if there was a body of community members who was empowered to engage with the public on topics like environmental justice and develop policies that had broad community buy-in? Or, as the library plays an expanded role in the Education City initiatives, a library commission that interfaces with HUSD parents and students, crowdsourcing policies that the council never would have had the capacity to develop. These ideas are possible and have the potential to transform how the city engages with the community and develops future civic leaders. I encourage you all to see this desire to do more not as a threat, but as an invitation. Let us help. We want to do more. We want to make a difference, and we can, if you allow us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that is our last speaker. And so I'd like to return up here to the dais. And our first speaker up here is Councilmember Zermeño.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you all the speakers. Thank you, the Clean and Green Task Force. I love you guys easily, which is one of the reasons that I will work to make sure that the task force is kept. Good report on your behalf. Thank you very much. My one question is, any thoughts on a decrease in the number of members? They're listed on the staff report. Any thought on decreasing the numbers of the Community Service Commission and on the Clean and Green Task Force?
That's actually one of the questions that we're looking for council direction on. We don't need to know the number tonight,
Right.
but if the council expresses a general interest in reducing the number of members, then we would work with the city clerk to pause the recruitment for those
Right.
two bodies this year while the ad hoc committee made recommendations about what an appropriate commission size could be.
Yeah, I mean, 20 clean and green folks, that seems unwieldy. And then, of course, quorum,
Becomes
it's
challenging,
difficult. 17 members of the Community Services Commission. So my number would be, the other commissions, the highest number is 9. So perhaps that's a possibility. I like the idea of having an ad hoc committee to study this. It's important. And I'll repeat, I do want to make sure that we keep Tom Ferreira and the Clean and Green Task Force and all the other volunteers out there who clean the city on a weekly basis, including myself. We are not finished cleaning Hayward. We have about 282 miles of streets that would need to be cleaned, and we keep doing it. Let's see. I think those are all my notes. Keep it, an ad hoc committee. And again, thank you very much, and thank you all for the comments and for a good job.
Thank you. Councilmember Andrews.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, staff, for the presentation, and wanted to thank Task Force Member Doug Manziel, Tom Ferrer, Melissa Milliman, and Chair Jeff Hammond. And we did receive an email from one of the longtime vets on Keep Hayward Clean and Green, which is White the Bowers. We did receive a comment from her as well. I just wanted to disclose I am the liaison for the task force, and they have made significant changes to their task force number already. They dropped from 30 to 20. So I do think the ad hoc committee can review, but it sounds like from me communicating with Chair and other members that you have a good group right now, maybe review whether or not there needs to be any more that are added. It seems like attendance is okay, so I think we can review that during the ad hoc committee in terms of keeping the number or leaving it as is and not recruiting anymore. I also wanted to thank the task force. In our consent calendar, I forgot to mention that there was a letter of support for public art, so wanted to thank you for submitting that, and those are some of the things that I would like to see more of with the task force. I do want to say that I was a task force member. We did do cleanups. At the time, there was a lot of cleanups, and so one of the changes that was made is that they reduced the number of cleanups because of attendance from the community was dropping. And so we do need to revisit the number of cleanups and the number of meetings, because the task force actually meets a lot more than other commissions. They actually meet the month that they're cleaning up, and then they have to get up 7 a.m., 7:30 a.m., and then meet on a Saturday and stay for another 4 hours at least in the sun, in the rain, whatever the weather is, they have to set up for the community cleanup. So when we're spending that kind of time committed to cleaning our community and we're not seeing the results in terms of number of volunteers, we need to revisit that. And so I hope the ad hoc committee can kind of talk about how do we look at getting more members of the public to attend the cleanups, but also talk about some of the things that are great about Keep Hayward Clean and Green. The Beautiful Yard Contest is a very popular contest. People love it, and it brings community pride. And then how do we get to 200 to 1,700 blocks adopted? Those are some of the things that I think that is a bigger focus on. We've noticed that there has been an increase in adopted blocks being adopted. So we do feel like that has been working. But I do want the ad hoc committee to review the number of members as well as the number of cleanups. I do think the Earth Day events, those major events, Make a Difference Day, those are very important events for the community, so those definitely should stay. As far as community services, I do feel that I am okay with the number of members on community services, but that can also be reviewed. If it can be less and they can deliver their mission, that's fine. I understand the ARCs are very long periods of time where they're reviewing applications, so maybe there's some efficiencies that can be looked at there, because that's one of the complaints that I hear sometimes from other community services commissions, that the day is too long. So if that can be reviewed. Also, I do think the priority is delivering community services, making it more efficient. I do have some issue when another body is configuring another body. That I have a problem with. So if we can review that in the ad hoc committee, that'd be great. But as far as how do we get community services more efficient, better, what are the community issues, you can continue to provide those letters of support, provide that guidance. Some of the language that I did see in the mission statement I found very interesting, which was solve community problems. That is a really big statement, and so I want that to be reviewed. Also, there are some things that I identify as community problems that I don't see the CSC necessarily looking at that they could be looking at. For example, instead of looking at the configuration of a body, we should be looking at why are kids missing? Why aren't we getting services to kids that are missing? Every other week or every month, I share out a flyer of a missing child, but the focus has been on the process of what a body should be doing. That needs to be reviewed. Also, overrepresentation of the Black population in homelessness. Are we targeting homeless advocacy groups or prevention groups that are targeting the Black population? Because if 50% of the homeless population is Black, why isn't the CSC looking at that overrepresentation? Those are the things that I think CSC should look at and maybe configure their mission statement to look at the data. What is the data showing in our community versus how we structure bodies? But the ad hoc committee can review that. And then as far as the Youth Commission, I have a special place in my heart for the Youth Commission. I'm very excited that they left. They spoke and left. They got to do homework. That's right. I'm very happy that they came and spoke. That's a very brave thing that they've done. One of the questions that I know Keep Hayward Clean and Green has asked is, how do we get into the schools? How do we get activation into the schools, train them young? I want to see if the ad hoc committee can review how do we interact with the Youth Commission and how do we make it effective. Also, I want to make sure that the Youth Commission, that they are not overextended, but also we're thinking about their schedules, because these are kids
we don't want them at every commission meeting at night, and they have activities on the weekends that they have to attend. So I'm a little nervous about making sure they're at every Keep Hayward Clean and Green meeting and then at another CSC meeting. So I think just looking at what works for a school child that doesn't have a car, I think we should revisit what their duties should actually be, and then how do they interact with HLAC. I know that sometimes that youth commissioners actually attend HLAC, but I don't know if it's consistent. So I think that would be something to look at, is if you can't get it consistent, if they can at least join remotely, I think you would get better information from the actual representation of that population that most of the time you all are meeting about. The library, I definitely enjoy almost all of the library events I've been to have been excellent, very well attended. Just making sure that it's communicated that how does the Library Commission ensure that there are services that are of equal quality at Weeks and at the downtown library? I think that would be something that would be a good focus. And then how can we improve what is happening around the library at Weeks Library? That's something also for CSC. If CSC would like to look at what are the community services that are operating at Weeks, can we look at why does Weeks look like that? That would be helpful. So I would say maybe there's some combination of working together with the Library Commission and the CSC to figure out the neighborhood issues that we're seeing over there. And then personnel, I believe they all had a retreat and everything's pretty good there. I think we're okay there. And yeah, and Planning Commission, I think we have to have it the way it is. So, thank you to staff for all the time creating this report, and thank you, apologies for the long comments, but I just want to make sure I'm thorough. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before I call on Councilmember Goldstein, I wanted to call on Councilmember Bonilla, who's online. Is that okay? Councilmember Bonilla.
Thank you, Mayor. So I do want the number of commissioners both on the CSC and on the Keep Hayward Clean and Green Task Force included in the ad hoc committee's responsibility to provide recommendations for. I'm not necessarily saying the number is right or wrong at this point, but I do want that included in what the committee is going to consider. I also, appreciate Councilmember Andrews' point. When I was looking at the staff report and the descriptions of the commissions that are listed on the website, which I think are very much aligned with the expectations of City Council, and then I start to look at some of these, I would say, commission-driven mission statements, there seems to be a huge disgruence, between what I think we've agreed to as a council and what previous councils have agreed to, and perhaps where some of our current commissions are heading. So for an example, when I look at the Community Services Commission, as it's described on the city's website, the commission's principal responsibility is to advise City Council on the most effective means of allocating available resources for community services. When you look at the mission statement that was written by the Community Services Commission, I think that's now their fourth or fifth priority or bullet. The first one talks about advising on social, economic, and humanitarian aspects of community development, which seem very far off from, I think, any discussions that I remember council agreeing to. So, really understanding and rescoping what these commissions are focused on so that we have effective and efficient government. It's one thing to try to do everything, and it's one thing to be, narrowly focused and really create an impact in the space that we're charging these commissions to create an impact. So I'm supportive of the ad hoc committee, and I'm supportive of the ad hoc committee also looking at the number of commissioners on both the CSC and the Keep Hayward Clean and Green Task Force. I do appreciate all of the comments that were made by the commissioners tonight, and I appreciate their dedication. And I just hope that we're able to find a way of making sure that these commissions are as efficient as possible, focused in the areas that they can create the most impact, and continuing collectively to serve Hayward and move Hayward forward in a way that serves everybody. Those are my comments on this work session tonight, Mayor and Council. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Goldstein.
Thank you, Mayor. So, City Council and the Mayor go through with city staff a very arduous setting of priorities for the year, and it takes into consideration how much time and availability staff has to complete the projects that are required, as well as projects that we now set as a new priority. And we absolutely respect what you're trying to do, but the reason that we have to limit what each of the commissions and boards does is so that we're not accidentally tripping up staff, over-consuming their time and burning them out. It creates a big problem. There's also a legal requirement, and that is that when we set the goals and vision for a commission or board, you're doing that as a representative of City Council. And so the work that gets done there has to conform to what authority that we've given you. On the other hand, you, Jesse, Colin, and some of the others in the CFC have stated some very noble goals, and that is to find out what's going on around the city and how we can make a difference with it. We have a way to do that, and that does require having conversations with your city council members. It's not like we're saying, no, don't do that. We're just asking you to do it in a way that makes it possible for all of us to work together, including working with city staff to set priorities and set budget. And so please don't take it as an insult that we're asking you to do it differently. Please don't take it as that we're trying to, somehow stop you from making these wonderful contributions that you're attempting to make. We just need to channel it in a way that actually works with the city staff, and city budget. So thank you for that. I think in terms of the number of people on each of these boards, I see an opportunity to reduce the number. The reduction in number should really be taken in view of the board or commission's ability to make quorum. And so I've seen a number of times that meetings were brought together, but no action could be taken because the body had a high number of people that needed to be present to make quorum, and it became self-defeating. Now, if we set a lower number, so in Keep Hayward Clean and Green, let's use that as an example. If we were to reduce the number, they could still, they could be like the leadership body and still bring other people together to be part of it. And in fact, any board and commission, I think there's a few exceptions where they can't do that, but in any event, that holds some possibility. So that's it for me. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Syrup.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, staff, for the report. I just want to be really explicit from the beginning. I think we'd be crazy to close the Keep Hayward Clean and Green Task Force. I appreciate you showing up. I don't think it's the will of anyone up here. We really appreciate the work that you all do. I've also adopted 2 blocks actually through my community group and also on behalf of my family. So I'm with you there, and thank you for the great work you're doing around the city. I actually, I know you do a lot. I'd like to see more. Actually, I have some ideas around doggy bags that I could really use your help with, so I'll follow up with the task force later on that. As far as reducing numbers go, I think this should be a conversation to have with the task force members and the commissioners. I have seen both during my experience on the Community Services Commission and afterwards a difficulty to reach quorum in some instances. So I wouldn't want it to be too significant. I think part of the beauty of the CSC is that we have a wide range of geographic representation. If we go too small, we risk losing some of that neighborhood representation. So, minimal reduction, I would say 13 at the very lowest, 15 maybe is the sweet spot here. But again, a conversation to have with commissioners. I'd really want to hear from folks over the last year what attendance has been like and whether or not meetings have gone on longer than necessary because of how many bodies are there. Like Councilmember Andrews mentioned, the task force just went through a very significant reduction. I would be curious to hear from the task force members if more is necessary. Do you feel, I'm going to look at nods here just for the sake of the public. Do you feel like a slight reduction is necessary, or are you happy with the level you're at currently? Thumbs up, middle, thumbs down.
Right now, I think we're doing pretty good.
Okay.
Be quorum now consistently.
Okay.
We've only ever missed it once.
Great.
Councilmember Sire, just a point of order.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
I get
Well,
the spirit.
Yeah, thank you. For the public's knowledge, they're meeting quorum most times now. They're interested in maybe looking at it. I would encourage staff to have that conversation in collaboration with the task force. Thank you, Mayor. As far as mission scope, mission creep of the commissions, I do want to acknowledge not just that the CSC has attempted to make some changes, but they have made changes. Their advocacy is a reason that we have a public safety committee now, that we've embarked on a historic reparative justice process and project. And I know that it's gone beyond its assumed purview in some of our eyes, but I'd like to invite any of us up here to disagree that we don't think our city is in a better place because of some of this advocacy. I think the question here, and where I agree with my colleagues, is does this need to happen inside of the commission, or is there a focus of work that we can achieve better with this commission? And so just to be very clear, I'm not interested in their purview only being the community agency funding process, because that transpires for half of the year. Then half of the year, I think it's a waste of their talent and their time to sit there with relatively no work to do. And we have a lot of willing people that want to contribute to our city. When we talk about community services, I'm curious how we could use our community services commissioners to be our ears on the ground for a wide variety of community services. How are our city services working? What is their opinion on Access Hayward? Do they have some feedback from a resident perspective? Can they be ambassadors for city programs? For example, our disposal day, can we make that, can we promote our programs within the CSC to have them go out and spread the word with their neighborhoods and other commissioners and other city residents? So the point I'm trying to make here is half of the year, the CSC members are just sitting on their hands. That's a waste of talent. What can we put that feels aligned with their current mission, that doesn't feel like it's going outside of their scope, to help them contribute more value to the city? An idea that I wanted to throw out there, and I'm not trying to give anyone a heart attack, is are we seeing the Library Commission at this point in time providing a lot of value to the city? Or maybe there's interest in consolidating the two to save on staff time, the CSC and the Library Commission. Or rather than doing that, maybe having different departments report to the CSC to share their perspective on different programs and get resident feedback on how those programs are being administered. I think we just have to get creative here, because we have a lot of very talented people that care, and we're having them do nothing for half the year. As far as arts and events go, I'm okay with the idea of moving arts and events outwards, but not yet. I think we have to have our work session around public art fees. I think we need to have a process in place for art projects to get funding before we take that away from the community. I don't want there to be a nebulous black box or void of how do you get arts funding until we have something in place to replace that going through the CSC. So I think, once we have that conversation or work session, that makes sense to me. I'm a little concerned about forming an ad hoc committee, just given how many transitions we have as a city right now and the staff time that could take, but I much prefer that than having a strategic planning session for every single commission. So if it's ad hoc committee, then it's ad hoc committee, and it sounds like there's majority support here. And I think that concludes the majority of my comments. I do want to reiterate what Commissioner Thormoto said. Seeing our volunteers as assets is critical. Just as someone that's done a lot of community organizing over the last few years, it's amazing how many people have so much that they want to give. We just have to figure out how to make the right opportunities for them to give. Yeah.
And Councilmember Syrup, I would just say that I think the consolidation of the conversation in the ad hoc committee is much more efficient use of staff time than each of the various staff liaisons working and doing that. So that's why that was part of the recommendation.
Understood. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Roach.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I support the ad hoc committee idea. I do think the importance of these commissions deserves a deeper discussion before we make recommendations, taking into account the comments from the commissioners and the staff liaisons to all these commissions. I think that would be worth our time to create that committee and do that work. I'm also fine with the recruitment process the way it is, but I'm open to my colleagues' recommendations on that. I would be open to considering reducing the numbers on the CSC and keep Hayward clean and green, but it sounds like there's different opinions on that. So I know staff is looking for that guidance tonight, right, on whether we want to hold off, so we can't really wait till the ad hoc committee to convene. Is that right?
Yeah, I think the timing is such that we're about ready to launch the recruitment process for the other boards and commissions. So if there's a desire to reduce the size by however many members, we wouldn't want to get rid of vacancies, or we wouldn't want to try to fill vacancies if we were going to go ahead and reduce that number. So I think, that's just the direction we're trying to get this evening, because it would just be better to freeze the vacancies than to fill them. And
to fill them. Yeah, and I mean, I'm really open to that. Like that, maybe the liaisons to these commissions, I mean, I think the two we're talking about is CSC and Keep Hayward Clean and Green, would have, I'm not sure where you fell on that. But I'm open, I mean, I don't know if you guys can comment afterwards, but I'm open to that recommendation if someone wants to, or not, right? If you feel like, if Keep Hayward Clean and Green feels like it's okay the way it is, and same thing with CSC, because I don't know where we are in vacancies on that right now. Anyway, open to it. Maybe I can get one more comment from the liaisons on that before I'm done. Let's see. I mean, I serve on the Library Commission, and I do wonder a little bit. I think the mission there has potentially gotten a little stagnant in that I think it was really important during the creation of the library, and I think now it's become a bit more of a reporting committee, so I'd either be interested in that one potentially doing every other month, or Councilmember Cyber's idea of potentially merging some of these is an interesting idea. So again, sort of in the ad hoc committee environment, I'm open to that, because that, or maybe we do need to look at what they're doing there, because I think there is a bit of frustration that really they're just coming to be reported on what's going on in the library. So I would be interested to hear from the commission on that. I think, at least going to every other month might save some staff time and probably reduce frustration to feel like you're showing up to get something done every other month instead of trying to fill the agenda with just reporting items. So again, in the ad hoc committee, I'd hope we can talk about that. Where the community services is concerned, I think my, and I've spoken on it before, I think my struggle with it is I'm trying to find a balance where the community services fulfills the need of what we're asking, which they did this year, and I really appreciate the commissioners coming this year and answering questions to us. That was great. I really appreciated that. And finding a way to not have it be like a community organization, like a community advocacy organization with any idea that, that an individual commissioner brings. And so I like Commissioner Sarp's idea about finding a way to, within the scope of the commission, to find something, other tasks that would be fulfilling, because I agree. All the commissions, I mean, these are people like I was wanting to sign up and do work for the city, and finding a way to give and lead, and I think that's really appropriate. But I think when it comes to community advocacy, we do have organizations in the city that have been very effective in bringing policy forward, like COCO, like Hayward Concerned Citizens, even the Chamber of Commerce. These organizations that are doing the work of finding a need in the community and pushing it forward towards the council. I think it's been effective, and I think that's an appropriate use of community advocacy organizations. And I don't think the Community Services Commission is necessarily that. And there's a scope to it, which is the community need. And I think, understanding the community, having a deeper dive on that committee, potentially getting, more, maybe perhaps deeper reports on the point in time count, the housing situation, the real needs assessment update, so that when it comes time to make the recommendations, you're our experts on that, because the commission has the bandwidth to do that work, which is what it was formed to do. So again, I think there was 3 recommendations. I'm totally open to looking at something else in the ad hoc committee, but I do like the idea of keeping some scope there and not letting it wander into an area that, again, I think is better served in the community. So I'll be looking forward to that discussion. Let's see. I think that's it. I think I'll be looking. It'll be great to just talk a little bit deeper about these. And I'm open to hearing from the liaisons, from staff time on some of these, and the commissioners themselves when it comes to those discussions. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Andrews.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Councilmember Roche, regarding the numbers, if I wasn't clear. So we reduced from 30 to 20, so we're able to meet quorum more. I do think the task force needs to at least be 15, I would say, between 15 and 20, because there's actually physical labor that is part of the task force, and there might be some folks that are not able to do some of the tasks when they're out for their cleanups. So it's more of a strength in numbers number for that task force. So that is why I think the chair is recommending to keep the number the way it is, partly one of the reasons why. And then as far as the CSC, I just wanted to do a couple of clarifying comments. So for me, I feel like the CSC, we have moved forward on a lot of their recommendations. I feel that their advocacy letters, we've moved forward with them. We moved forward with a lot of the resolutions. I do feel that I understand the concern about meeting half the year, but maybe we can look at their schedule to see, do they need to meet every month? Or do we look at their schedule in terms of looking at the efficiencies of the organizations that they have contributed to? And then also looking at the data, for example, Councilmember Roche was saying about the point in time count, looking at the demographics of that data. We also had a lot of conversations during the review of the recommendations around food. And I know that there's a food access plan that the city is working on. Maybe there's a way we can figure out how do we figure out food. And so that could eat up a lot of time for the CSC members if you want to keep the same number of meetings. But I will leave that to the ad hoc committee, but just wanted to acknowledge that we do move forward on recommendations from all of our task force and commissions and boards. We receive advocacy letters from the Keep Hayward Clean and Green Task Force and other groups as well. So just wanted to acknowledge that. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay. Councilmember Sire.
And just to reiterate around advocacy, every commissioner is more than encouraged to come and give public comment. It doesn't necessarily have to be the representation of that commission's will, but we're so happy that everyone is here tonight. And don't let anyone take your voice away, I guess is the other thing I want to add here. Thanks.
Thank you. I just, so some things I heard, without making it too much of a burden on staff, I think we're going to do an ad hoc committee. The members of the ad hoc committee, I'm sure I'll have to sit down with the city manager to sort of see who wants to participate in that. I would assume we wouldn't want more than 3 members on that committee. And so I see that's a good idea. As you were talking, particularly the Library Commission, what struck me about the Library Commission, when I first got on the council, I was the liaison to the Library Commission, but it was an exciting time to be a library commissioner because that's when we were building the library, and the meetings were about construction and building, and I mean we really got a front row seat on the construction of the library. And so I certainly learned a lot about building a library while I was the liaison there. And I think a lot of the commissioners that were on the Library Commission, they felt, I think, satisfied with the work that they were contributing. And just based on the work that we did, because at the end of the day, what happened? We built a library, And so I think we benefited from that. So I say that because, maybe we need to build another library to, I'm just saying. Anyways. When you were talking about that, what I hope in this ad hoc committee is, what I hope we do in this ad hoc committee is a couple of things. One, and these are just some things that I've heard without repeating everybody. Consider scope. Consider scope of work, and I know that that's been an issue, not just with CSC. I think there's other commissions that have had this issue. Personnel Commission has certainly talked about, what do they do? We have right now. We have the Personnel Commission. We have a lot of professional HR, professionals in there, and so I want to make sure what they're contributing to the discussion around employment and personnel and around our city is certainly valued. Committee size or task force size, I know meeting quorum is important and so forth, but what I would ask of the committee members is come up with a number of commissioners that really accomplish work. I don't want a commission of 30 people and nothing gets done, right? And so I've seen committees, I've seen boards with 30 people, and nothing gets done. And so I just want to direct everyone to look at that. And you know, and the other thing too, and this is something that I think is important, and I don't know, maybe this is something that our legal team can look into, but I think we also need a code of conduct on our commissions. You know, and some of the community services commissioners aren't there anymore, but when advocacy crosses the line to, you know, beating us up on social media when they don't get their way on a particular issue or a particular thing, you know, we have to figure out, you know, what is it that we're doing? You know, when we make decisions up here, we make decisions thinking about an entire city, and you know, and I can remember, you know, going home or on any given day, opening up social media and just seeing some of the most horrible posts about us because, you know, we didn't approve something, or we didn't decide on something, or we didn't, you know, do something. Even when we, and I have to admit, Councilmember Andrews brought it up about, we have taken and approved and adopted almost everything that has come to us by commissioners and from the commissions. And so it hurts when we have working colleagues that we are in partnership, that we do work together. It hurts when we, after the work is done, we go home, open up our social media, and see some of the horrible things written about us and posted about us. And so, you know, I would hope that there is some thought in code of conduct or professional conduct amongst the commissioners. I just sort of quickly Googled something here, and the city of Capitola has a code of conduct for commissioners for the city of Capitola. So maybe that's something that we look at, you know, in the committee. So anyways, I agree with generally everything that was said up here, and I want to appreciate my colleagues for talking about this. I think it is time to review the role and the functions of our commissions. And one last thing, I do want to, this ad hoc committee, have a time limit. I don't want this to be a 5-year committee, right? I think we should do this. I think we should do this short, and 100 days. This should be like a 100-day committee. I don't know, but yeah, I'd like to see a timeline put to this, and I don't mean to say 100 days, you guys. All I see is staff. That was a joke. That was a joke.
They were all recommending that the ad hoc committee only meet until May 3rd, and that's my last project.
Yeah.
So.
So, anyways, I just wanted to put a timeline on this and have a very specific finished date, and then that'd be great to have. With that said, and if there's nothing else, I'd like to close this item. Councilmember Roach, yeah.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to make sure that staff did you get the guidance you needed on the numbers?
I think we heard that a majority of you want to explore the issue but aren't supportive of pausing the recruitment right now. Is that what we heard?
Well, if the number of commissioners may change, I mean, I think we should
pause the.
I think we should pause it.
I agree. I agree with the mayor.
I'm seeing 5 nods, so there we go.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree with the mayor.
I'm glad we clarified.
Okay.
I was going to suggest maybe the next meeting of both of those groups, there can just be a question put out about what they feel is the appropriate number, and then build the recruitment around that, just so it's based.
I think we wouldn't change the recruitment this time around. So for next year. So we just
for next year.
Yeah. So we just pause this year's recruitment to fill the vacancies, have the conversations with the respective commissions and task force, and then the ad hoc committee, and then that would then be built into the recruitment process next year.
Sorry, so just to clarify, it's specific to those two, correct?
Correct.
'Cause I know we have some planning commission vacancies that I'm not interested in pausing.
No, that we will absolutely need to fill. Because
Okay, thank you.
Yes, it's a charter required body.
Yeah, good point of clarification.
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that. Appreciate that.
Okay. So I'd like to close this item and, well, let me open my agenda back up. Close this item, and now we move on to item number 7, which is the Stack Center project, update on phasing and funding gap. And since I see Mary Thomas up here, Mary Thomas is going to kick this off, and I believe this is going to be a rather short report, actually.
Yeah, I included some pictures that I'll go through very fast. So there are more than 5 slides, but they're mostly pictures. So most of you are familiar with this. I know that so 4 of you have not received a work session on this in the past, although I think you are hopefully somewhat familiar with the project, and most of you came to the groundbreaking. So I won't go into the there's some really interesting details about the history of the Eden Youth and Family Center, which used to be at Tennyson Elementary School. But just in summary, we did do a pretty extensive outreach and engagement process in 2019 to talk about what the different partners and community really want for the center. So I just wanted to remind the group here, so really thinking about a city center south, so there's a lot of sense that the downtown has gotten a lot of city investment over the last 2 decades, and South Hayward has not gotten that same level. So wanting this to help be a catalyst for that, a catalyst for economic development along Tennyson Corridor. So as we were designing that, we were thinking about it. And also a hub for, so not just a service center, so we do want to be a wraparound service center, but also a hub for social innovation and connection, and just like a place to be, like we have downtown and the Heritage Plaza, so that was the goals. We also had I had to give a plug to this for those of you who didn't get to hear the report out from these commissioners. We had 19 youth participants in 2020 that met, and they really shared their goals were to have natural spaces was one huge item for them. They shared their stories of living multiple families in one household and wanting a place to be with natural spaces, but also wanting an active public space where they could celebrate. A lot of wanting lights, cultures of lights, and really liked the lights downtown and wanted things to feel celebratory like that in South Hayward as well. And then a range of diverse recreational opportunities and a message really focusing on the strength and survival of South Hayward families. So quickly to go over the phases, phase 1 is the one that's happening right now. It should be done, it'll be done and open by the end of this calendar year. It's showing all of the things in that black box right there. I'm happy to describe more about these, but I'm just gonna go quick. Phase 2 is the most expensive phase. It is the tearing down most, or demolishing most of the existing front building, not all of it. We have to keep the Silva Clinic in service until the very end, until we actually have a clinic to put them in, because it would be too expensive for them to move somewhere else. So we'll be demolishing everything but the Silva Clinic and building the core and shell of the entire building, including the second floor, but just putting the furnishings and all the fixtures in the first floor, and that is to meet a grant deadline that we have for the first floor learning spaces, which is through the California State Library. Phase 3 then would be filling in the upstairs, which would be the 2 clinic spaces and the waiting rooms. And phase 4 finally would be filling out the outside, the external parts of the North Campus, which includes a lot of sort of nice natural spaces and some raised seating for a stage and an opportunity to project movies on the building and some other cool stuff. So I'm not going to go through the funding sources, but I'm happy to go back to this slide. I just did want to note that we've been successful in getting $16 million in grant funding over the last 3 years, so that's been something that council and staff have worked hard at. And specifically tonight, wanting to talk about phase 2. So we are at the point now where, in order to not lose the state library funding, which is $8.6 million, we either need to fill that gap of phase 2. The full cost of phase 2 is $34,000, and we have a gap of 14, or we need to immediately start revising the scope, because we need time to design it before we would break ground. We also wanted to get some general feedback tonight on business planning. So as we're working towards opening it, The operators, La Familia and Youth and Family Center, were selected in 2018. We don't currently have an active agreement with them that did lapse during COVID. We're working with them to kind of think through a business plan, but staff really feels that the partnership would benefit from bringing in an outside partner right now to think really maximize revenue sources. So the goal of this exercise is really to build a robust, sustainable model for the future center. So we're seeking just general feedback about if council would be willing for us to spend some money on that, bringing in some outside support. So the feedback for the phase 2 construction is council open to closing the gap using Measure C funding with the plan to replenish the majority of that funding with future proceeds from city-owned properties like City Center, for example. Or if the renewal of Measure C is successful, then that wouldn't be necessary. And then 2, the other option would be to redesign phase 2 to scale it down. And then for business planning, would council be open for us hiring an outside consultant up to $70,000, and we would bring back an item for that if you are.
Great, thank you. Let's see, Councilmember Andrews. Oh, wait a minute, this is a work session, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, this is a work session. So let me
Public
open for public comment. Let me see. I don't see any cards on this, and I don't see any I don't see anyone online. So I'm going to close public comment, and then I'll come back up here. Councilmember Andrews.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you again for the presentation. I actually wanted to see the slide with the artwork. Can we just go back to that?
Oh, the one with the youth art?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who
so
did
that was
artwork?
what we, yeah, so one of, a woman who has done a lot of artwork in Hayward, she's from Hayward. Her name is Elizabeth, and I'm forgetting her last name right now, but I could get that for you.
Blancas.
Oh, thank you. Elizabeth Blancas.
Is this the same one that did the
One at
Chabot?
Chabot.
Okay, can we just put these everywhere? And then you won't
Yeah,
hear
so
from
she
me
actually
anymore
did
about public art?
portraits of all 19 of the youth, and
Yeah.
we can put them, yes,
Yeah,
around.
just, if you put all these everywhere, you won't hear
Okay,
public art from me.
these are all Hayward, yes,
Yeah, I'll
Hayward
be
young
done.
people.
Yeah. So I wanted to acknowledge that, shout out to her, but also wanted to talk about third place a little bit. We are missing third spaces here in Hayward. I feel like Heritage Plaza is gorgeous, but it's not something indoors where people can be all year long and have a meeting and talk about ideas, which is the purpose of the SAC Center. So I want to keep that element in there. And I saw that in the report, it said that they wanted to potentially value engineer out the cafe. And I feel like that is a critical element that's missing in that part of town. And I would want to make sure we can keep something like that so people can possibly have a coffee, have some ideas, maybe gather and talk about how they're going to come with public comment and talk to us. I'm sure that would be a space for that, I'm sure. But no, I really feel like the cafe should not be something that I think that's the most important part of the whole project. And so if we can keep that in there and also give a coffee shop an opportunity, give a new entrepreneur an opportunity to start off there, that would be great.
So yeah, the feedback that I need from you tonight is that is not covered by the library grant or any of the other existing funding sources, so that would be.
I totally understand, but I think we should partner with economic development and figure it out, because that is a really important part of the project for me. And then agree with the lights. I definitely agree that there is an equity issue with certain parts of town with very nice lights, and this project can be part of that. So I think that would help with that. Also, I understand that the second floor is also potential to be value engineered out, right? So what were the services that were going to be on the second floor?
Yeah, so if we don't find the funding gap, then in order to, I mean, the third option, I suppose, I didn't put it in the report, is that we abandon the $8.6 million grant and we keep trying to fundraise for the full scope. But the second floor will eventually be the pediatric clinic and the behavioral health clinic. So Phase 2 would build the entire core and shell, including the second floor. We would then need, Phase 3 would be to fill that in, which would be an additional amount of money. But there's no grant funding currently tied to that, so we could continue to fundraise for that.
Okay. Yep. Can you put the options so I can make sure I answer the questions?
Yeah, they're on the screen right now.
Okay, great. Yep, I would say it would need to be a combo of, yes, I think the business planning, we should move forward with that. I think $70,000 might sound like a lot to folks, but if they can also include an economic development aspect to their planning in order for us to help recoup some of that, but make it a spot where there's spurring economic development in that area, even though it's already thriving for a lot of the businesses there, but that would be helpful. And then I think we could scale down some of the amenities, but I definitely want to keep the cafe. As far as closing the gaps using Measure C and city-owned property, I don't know what the plans are for the city center. I feel that if we can get someone else who can make use of it faster than how we're operating it, I'm all for it. So I would say sell city center and fill the gap versus relying on Measure C in the future. I think that would be a better avenue for me. Thank you.
Okay, let's see, Councilmember Syrup.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for the presentation, and thank you, staff, for the years of hard work that's gone into pulling down these funds. Just looking at the feedback slide, I'm open to the idea of using some Measure C funds, especially as we pursue an extension in the fall. If this is the difference between us being able to use these grant dollars or not, I think we owe it to South Hayward to get the funding necessary and close the gap necessary to achieve the full vision of this project. I would be really sad to see us scale down these amenities. We've been fighting a long time to have robust mental health, behavioral health services, and so to lose that, I think, would be unfortunate. I'm also very supportive of the request to bring in outside assistance. I see this $70,000 as a very small investment that can bring in a lot of dollars. Just if we're able to spend $70,000 and find a way to make this a revenue positive building or to attract more funding in the millions of dollars, this would be a no-brainer of an investment, in my opinion. A small gripe is the font on the sign. I'm really hoping Hayward can explore some new fonts beyond this really thin, stale, kind of neutral Helvetica. A little bit of personality I think would be nice. I don't know if that's locked in, but I'm just throwing that in here now before I forget. And then the staff report mentioned something around the governance group. Would you mind sharing a little bit about the structure of the governance group for the public's knowledge?
Yeah, so this project was really led, I should say, came from the heart of former Supervisor Richard Valle, and so he would put in the original seed funding, which was $14 million from the county and Kaiser combined. And so the governance group, and then in addition, this property abuts Tennyson Park, which is a hard park, and in fact, there's some property line issues that we've had to deal with. And so the governance group is a partnership between the county of Alameda, who's put in funding for this, and the city and HARD. And so it has a sitting member from each of that. It's not been convened in a little while. We were gonna reconvene it after hearing feedback from you guys tonight to give them an update on where we're at.
Got it. So can you restate that? The governance group consists of who?
It's Alameda County, it's the Board of Supervisor District 2, and then it's HARD, so it has been their board president, but it typically has been one of their particular board members and the mayor of the city council. Yeah.
Understood, thank you. And then just around the topic of Measure C, can you share some rough numbers as it relates to closing that gap? How much will we need in order for us to?
Yeah, so the idea would be to continue fundraising for the $5 million for phase 3 and $5 million for phase 4. So the gap would really be the 14.3 that you see here. And we'll continue to try and find grants this summer, but we've now reached the point where we can't wait any longer before we need to do a redesign if we have to.
Understood. And I appreciate the creativity of Councilmember Andrews' approach of selling the theater. I do not want to sell the theater. Is that what you meant by Cinema Place?
City Center.
City Center.
City Center.
Did I
Okay,
say
I'm sorry. No, sorry. I misinterpreted that.
Oh.
Okay. I'm like,
That's a
we
city
just got
center.
that. I'm like, I'm not.
No.
Okay,
No,
never
City
mind.
Center.
Forgive me. Okay, so City Center Plaza. Got it. I was really worried for a second. I'm like, we just did this.
You're done. Okay. Councilmember Roach.
Thank you. I'm going to put the questions back up again. So the Measure C funds would be the 14 million that you're considering.
Yes, that's the gap.
Yeah, I mean, I would be interested in exploring that, especially if we could replenish it. Or renewal too. I mean, I think this actually is a perfect project for Measure C funds. I think the community would probably support us on that. So I guess I don't feel too worried about going that route with the Measure C funds. And then, right, if for some reason, right, if we don't extend it, then we, have a backup of potentially selling. Yes, City Center would be great. It would be a shame to scale down and not accept this grant. So I think we kind of have to go forward with that part of it. I'm fine with that. I wanted to ask, the staff report talked about how we've sort of exhausted our funding from Hayward. Is that right? That we don't foresee that there was there wasn't that much more that we felt like the community could give at this point.
Yeah, so it's not entirely, we had a fundraising consultant come in and, we're not as high a capital community as other communities surrounding us, unfortunately. And so we have sort of a limited amount, and we could probably get several more million of dollars, but it would take some time, and we're not likely to get that in the near, in the next 11 months. So. And
do we have a capital campaign consultant on this that is trying to reach out, beyond Hayward, obviously? I mean, there's obviously a lot of dollars, just across the bay. What is being done to reach out to those?
Yeah, they did. Yeah. So yes, there were interviews. The consultant did talk. They thought sort of Bay Area wide, we might, with concerted effort, get maybe around 10 million to 11 million, which is why would continue to fundraise for the phase 3 and 4. They don't see us getting. We were hoping like maybe 20 million, but that didn't seem likely from them.
Even reaching out beyond the area, obviously.
Yeah, they did. They tested the message with various funders on the peninsula, and we could challenge them and try and do that.
No, I'm just interested. Yeah, what was reported. I appreciate that. So if that's the case, it seems like we kind of need to risk going forward with Measure C funds, with the hopes that we get the other 10 and then revisit the other 10 later, depending on what it comes down to. Okay, I'm down with that. And yes, on the business planning option, it sounds like that's a great way for just for the longevity of the STAC Center as we move forward anyway. What about doing the business planning and having a sure idea of what our partners are going to look like? Would that help us get a loan in the future if we needed to do that?
So we've looked into financing. The issue is then how do we pay back? Oh yes. So it becomes a trade-off, and the business plan. If we hire a consultant, they can help us think through this. With enough revenue, you could have a revenue source. It would be balancing having low-cost services with trying to produce revenue. If we have some types of services, like maybe we could rent out some of the commercial fronting spaces to yoga studios. If there's some certain type of revenue, that's the idea of bringing on a consultant to kind of help us through. Maybe there's some revenue sources we don't care about costs, for the community, but for most of the services, we probably want to also not charge too much.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Bonilla. Okay. I'll jump over to Councilmember Goldstein.
I'm starting to worry about Ray. Thank you for the report. I'm going to keep my remarks just very pointed here. I would much rather use Measure C funds than scale back this project. I think we've committed a lot to the community, and it was after a lot of input from the community, and I think we really ought to aim to deliver on what we promised. And if you think that hiring a consultant will help us get there or figure out better ways of raising more money, then I'm for that as well. And so I'm not going to go into the city center issue again, but yeah, you know, what about that? I see dollar signs happening there somehow. Thank you.
Councilmember Zermeño.
Thank you. Thank you for the report, Mary. Good job. I'm as a resident of South Hayward, Tennyson Corridor, this is something that's close to my heart. Coffee shop, please, cafe. I remember the very first meeting eons ago that Richard Valle held, and I raised my hand and I said, we need a coffee shop on Tennyson Road, and he says, yes, we do, so please keep it. No on scaling down the amenities, so that means that yes on closing the gap with Measure C. This is Measure C. This is the community. We speak of equity, so this is something for the Tennyson Corridor, South Hayward, very, very important to us. I know there is one meeting room in the Mateo Jimenez Gymnasium. See if we can have a couple more meeting rooms in the center, because we're always looking for meeting rooms. I'm always receiving mails, phone calls. Where can we meet? Where can we meet? And
Yeah,
you know,
so the second phase would have a larger meeting room. I mean, larger as in like maybe 15 people, as well as 2 smaller meeting rooms, and then would also have a large multi-purpose room that could be rented.
excellent. That's very, very important. Let's see. So, yes, on an outside assistant, because I think it's something that's important. Maybe he or she can help us try to get some funds or more funding. Keep searching for grants, please. And that's it. My comments. Thank you very much, and keep doing a good job on this.
Councilmember Bonilla, apparently he had to restart his computer, so he is working on it. Just a couple of comments. One, you know, this is a major project in South Hayward, and so and I know we all know that, and you know, I really want to keep on schedule, keep on the mission. I don't necessarily want to have a conversation of scaling down. We've been talking about this Stack Center for a long time. I think it's, you know, this neighborhood deserves it. This corridor deserves it. And, you know, we just have to just keep doing the work that we're doing and you know, keep knocking on doors, keep asking for money, keep writing grants for money, and just, you know, and working on this. If we need to use Measure C, I agree with some of the comments. You know, and you know, let's not forget, right? This is a public building. This is a facilities, and this is an amenity. You know, and I think, you know, we must keep to the mission, and I just really want to make sure we see this building all the way through. Yes, I want to invest in the business plan. You know. It will help, you know, the 2 agencies that are there. It'll certainly help us as we move forward, and plus, it might even help us even when we go through, you know, as we're writing more grants and seeking more money, we can certainly use that as leverage too. So, so those are the only 2 comments I have. I mean, you know, I generally agree with everyone up here, and I could keep talking, but you know, Councilmember Bonilla is lost somewhere between Times Square and Hayward. So yeah, Councilmember Andrews.
I can eat up just a little bit more time if we're waiting on him. But I was just going to say with the amenities, I don't want the enemy, I don't want perfect to be the enemy of good. And so when I say we cut back on value engineering some of the amenities, I mean, if it's coming to a point where we're not going to build this thing or we're doubling, tripling cost, I think we should bring it back to council and we revisit it. Not necessarily I'm trying to reduce amenities for South Hayward, no, but I also want a building for South Hayward because we don't want to wait 20 years trying to keep all the amenities. So is there a point where it will come back?
Yeah, and then one source of hopefully a little bit of confidence is when we went to bid for phase 2, the engineer's estimate for this project was spot on. We were under. And so hopefully the engineer's estimate for phase 2 is also spot on, and we're not coming back with, larger ask.
Okay, great, thanks.
And I didn't mean that, no. No, my comment was pretty much, I just want to stay to the mission, and I think I really,
Yeah, and one thing I didn't highlight at the beginning, just for those who are newer to the conversation, so originally Hayward Library was not going to be at this site, but they did join, and that is why we got this grant. They're planning to use this as the makerspace, literacy lab, lounge area, various things equivalent to the downtown. This would be a satellite location of the Weeks branch. So it's not just, it's also a city building in that way.
yeah. Okay, I see Councilmember Bonilla pop back up, and let me see if he can get it together in the next second or two. If not, I'm sure Councilmember Bonilla will send in his remarks, and so I'll tell you what, I will. Okay, he just popped off. So I'll close this item, and then we'll move on to the next item, item number 8. Thank you, Ms. Thomas, on your work on this. Our next item is a legislative business, item number 8. It's
Sorry, Mayor, I'm back.
titled Municipal Elections. Oh, hold on.
I'm here.
Oh, okay. So I'd
Sorry
like to reopen the Stack Center. No, I'm kidding. Councilmember Bonilla, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll be brief, and sorry about those technical difficulties. Thank you, Assistant to the City Manager, for giving us that wonderful staff report and for all of your efforts as it relates to the Stack Center. I do think that that's really a beautiful place once it's going to be developed for a community who really deserves a gem like that in South Hayward. So, when I was thinking about how we close this funding gap, I really appreciate our ambition around how it is we might continue to fundraise. But I am supportive of using Measure C funds. And if Measure C, for whatever reason, doesn't get extended, then I'm open to looking at, as was mentioned, looking at where we might be able to sell some, city property like the like the property that we have. What was the name of it that was mentioned?
The City Center property.
City Center, yeah, exactly. I mean, that property is blighted anyway, so it's about time we get rid of it. So, I agree. We can use that as a potential way of closing the gap. And I do agree that we need to use this money to bring in an outside business consultant. This is a multi-million-dollar project. So leveraging less than $100,000 to bring in an expert to really develop a sustainable business model that's going to ensure that this center delivers on its promise to our community, and generates, some sort of revenue to be self-sustaining, I think is really important. So I do support bringing in a business consultant, and I also support us using, Measure C to close the gap. And like I said, if Measure C doesn't get extended, then we can be creative with how we, leverage other city property that needs to, likely be sold anyways, like the city center. So those are my comments on that, Mayor. And sorry again about the technical difficulties.
No, it's okay. Thank you. Okay, so thank you. So I'd like to close item number 7. Open item number 8. Go to item number 8, which is municipal elections. Adopt the resolution of intention to transition from at-large election of the mayor and city council to district-based elections beginning with 2026 election cycle. And this report is coming to us from our Senior Assistant City Attorney, Michael Villa.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Before you this evening, you do have an item which is a resolution of intention for the City Council to transition from at-large elections to district-based elections. Some background on this item. On May 28th, 2021, the council received a letter from Attorney Scott Rafferty sent to the city clerk advising of a possible California Voting Rights Act violation arising out of the at-large election system in Hayward. This letter was followed up on March 10th, 2024, as well as letters on the 21st and 22nd of March sent by Mr. Rafferty to the mayor and city council advising of Brown Act violations, as well as continuing a demand for transition to district-based elections for the November 2024 election. On April 9th, Mr. Rafferty served the city clerk with a summons and complaint in the matter of Jack Wu versus the city of Hayward, which is a lawsuit filed in Alameda County Superior Court related to the CVRA violations that he alleged. And also significantly on April 10th, the Hayward Unified School District adopted a resolution similar to what is before the council this evening of an intention to switch to district elections, also based on a demand letter sent by Mr. Rafferty to the district. Just a brief overview of the California Voting Rights Act. It prohibits the use of at-large election processes that impair the right of voters in a protective class to elect their preferred candidates or influence election outcomes. It's a relatively low bar for a plaintiff to prove a violation of the CVRA, and plaintiffs are entitled to a statutory reimbursement of pre-litigation costs up to $30,000, and this is subject to CPI escalation. The proposed timeframe for moving forward is based on a statutory safe harbor contained in the Elections Code, and it requires that within 45 days of receiving a demand letter, that a legislative body adopt a resolution of intent to transition to district elections. And when that resolution is adopted, there's a 90-day period within which the legislative body has to draw maps, conduct 4 public hearings, and adopt a district-based election system and adopt district maps. Something to consider is that the Alameda County Registrar of Voters has informed city staff that they prefer that maps for districts be received by the ROV at least 6 months before the election, which would be May 5th. Staff's recommendation, as set forth in the staff report, is to adopt a resolution of intention this evening, indicating the council's intent to switch to a district-based election system for the 2026 election cycle, and also to direct staff to commence the process of conducting public outreach and to schedule the required public hearings so that they're completed by no later than July 15th, 2024. That concludes my presentation. We have outside counsel, Robin Johansson, who specializes in election matters, also on the call this evening, and we're prepared to answer any questions that the council may have. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't see any questions from council up here, so what I'll do is I'll close council comments. I'll go to public comments, and I will go online first. And our first caller is Jack Wu.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, good evening, Mayor Salinas, City Council members, and fellow residents of Hayward and Alameda County. I've already taken the City of Hayward to court as the plaintiff in this case. The law does not provide second chances to delay implementation of district elections. You ignored the request to comply almost 3 years ago and failed to disclose it to the public. This February, new census data showed that Hayward now has a majority Asian district. Subsequently, and within 3 weeks, my attorney notified you of our intent to file suit, and we have. You can no longer draw your own districts. Now you would need court approval. With the proposed resolution, you would delay Asian representation for 4 years to possibly accommodate your own interests. 3 incumbents live in the same neighborhood far from the Asian majority district. One was appointed after you knew you had to change to districts. You did not even interview any of the 6 Asians who put themselves forward. This imbalance is undemocratic. As you know, minority vote share is depressed in midterms like 2022 and 2026. That's why this change to district elections needs to happen this year and not 2026. So I would advise you to adopt a resolution that would seek to implement district elections for the November 2024 general election. If you are instead choosing to spend public funds and succeed in delaying court action until 2026, it is essential that there be an independent redistricting commission. We stand ready to discuss this option with you. Thank you very much. And I yield my time.
Our next speaker is Sarah Lamnin.
Hi there. Good evening, everybody. Thank you all, council, staff, everybody, for being so committed to meaningful community engagement. 90 days is, of course, a very tight timeline, and I hope you're able to apply for the additional 90-day extension. But either way, I think there are some good examples and best practices you can lean on for a robust and inclusive process. So I urge you to look at AC Transit's process, both most recently, but also in 2021, they had a great process. The state of California's tool for gathering community of interest, otherwise known as COI maps, was also really easy to use, engaging, and multilingual. Of course, the Alameda County Coalition for Fair Redistricting remains a resource to you all. I also ask you to not complete this process alone. Given that the school district is going through exactly the same thing, hopefully the two bodies can work together to create joint materials, leverage each other's educational opportunities, and also each other's strengths. There's also an existing list of faith and cultural organizations throughout the city, and these groups can be called on to help engage and educate the community so that the districts can be created that will represent them. Lastly, as reported by the League of Women Voters and ACLU and Asian Law Caucus, independent redistricting committees are, of course, the gold standard for fair maps, but difficult to do in such a short time. But the city has a history of pulling commissioners from existing resident bodies to do great work in the community, and I urge you to consider doing that so that that group can meet both before and after the maps are created to provide that independent guidance for the map creation. As always, I am happy to help in any way I can, and I appreciate your time. Thanks.
Thank you. I don't see anyone else online, so I'd like to turn to my card. Scott Rafferty.
So, there's a lot to say in 2 minutes. I wish there was more real community engagement, and I think we should have a discussion, perhaps through your attorneys, about what's changed since 2021. You're now the largest city in California not to have districts or be in transition. And I'm responsible for a lot of that. I went after much larger cities with white majorities elected in the 20th century, like Ontario, Santa Clarita. And so you weren't the highest priority, in part because what we did in those cities was to move it into 2024. It needs to happen in a presidential year. It's minority turnout, it doesn't work in 2022. I've learned that the hard way. The clients that wanted to move quickly, they just got clobbered. So you're talking about putting this off for 4 years. We didn't have to. The other thing that's happened, of course, is there's the majority-minority district. That's happened in February, and that really did change things. And if you do this, even if we were to settle, someone else could come in, and that's kind of a much more sticky situation. I still think you should go forward with this year. I think it's quite feasible. I'd love to have you work with the school district. I'm kind of pessimistic based on some other experiences, but that's the right answer. I wish there was more community engagement. I wish you'd talk to the community about this. Since 2001, Mr. Syrov has come on the board. He reminds me a lot of the community organizers that have really come in our county and in Contra Costa. It's been transformative, not just in terms of minority electoral success, but the real function of this law is to increase minority turnout, which Black turnout is great. That's nothing like 400 years to tell you how important it is to vote. Asian and Latino turnout, and unfortunately, it's even worse here than most places. It's a tragedy across our state, and this is proven to improve that. It's proven in Contra Costa County, but there's a study that amazed me that the immediate impact it's had in cases that I'm not involved in, 18 cases the University of Chicago looked at. So I really urge you to work on this, but it's not about you. You're far better than the Ontario or Santa Clarita City Council, let me tell you. And I respect that, I respect all of you. But we need to have some discussion, and I wish it could be public discussion, but perhaps it can be through your attorneys.
Thank you, Mr. Rafferty.
Thank you.
Mary Ann? I was sitting here thinking about it. I'm gonna wait for you to say it.
Hi, my name is Mary Ann Pfau. I think most of you have had interaction with me at one time or another. And I apologize in advance for not being as polished with what I'm going to say tonight as I usually am, because I read about this item at 7:24 this evening, and it struck a chord with me and caused me to come down here and replan my Tuesday night. So I don't know how much latitude we have in going forward with this or not going forward with this, but the reason that I showed up here is in the 30 years that I have lived in Hayward, I have always found that the city council works together to try to do what is right for the city. And most all of you can attest to the fact that I don't always agree with you. But what I do find from our interactions is everybody on the city council, in the time that I have lived here, has been open to meeting with me as a citizen, collaborating, listening to me. And what I find is that through some productive conflict, we walk away with a better decision. And part of that is because you're representing the city of Hayward. My concern is if we go to districts, all of a sudden we create divisiveness. Tonight, there's been a lot of talk about the community of Hayward, and I really do feel like Hayward is a community. If we go to districts, I am concerned that we are going to lose that community feeling, that we are going to end up with separate communities that are at odds with each other, trying to fight for what they want for their specific location. So I'm not in favor of this. Like I said, I don't know how much latitude we have, but my hope is that once you go through the process, we end up doing what is best for the city of Hayward. And for me, I'd like to see us continue to have at-large elections and not create infighting amongst our different neighborhoods within Hayward.
Thank you. Mary Ann's card is the last card I have, so I'd like to close public comment and then come back up here to the dais. Councilmember Roach.
Thank you. I just wanted to move on the item to adopt the resolution and just say that, while we do, if we go forward with this, we obviously have to move quickly, but I hope we can still have as inclusive a process as possible, taking into consideration communities of interest, offering multiple languages at the meetings, providing meeting times at various times a day, et cetera, so that while we're going to truncate the process potentially, we still get as much public involvement as possible. But otherwise, I move the item.
I'm happy to second the item. May I add comment?
Moved by Councilmember Roach, seconded by Councilmember Syrup, and yes, go right ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to follow Councilmember Roach's comments here. I think, this condensed timeline is not ideal, but the community input process is critical to making sure that we do this right. I'm a little bit concerned about the staff burden given how many transitions our city is going through during this time. And so just, coming off of the previous comments we made about the commissions, how can we best leverage our communities and our partners to help carry some of this burden, I think is going to be critical because there's a lot happening over the next few months. So just appreciate everyone being collegial and being good teammates as we work through this process.
Thank you. Councilmember Andrews.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you to our legal team for the presentation. And I want to echo the comments from both of my colleagues, but also wanted to give acknowledgement to Ms. Faust. She is a very engaged community member, and for you to come here last minute like that to make a comment shows how much you really care about this community. And we appreciate, even when we don't agree, we always appreciate your comments and how you're approachable and you feel comfortable approaching us. So I just wanted to acknowledge community members like you. I just wanted to say that this is something that is not completely in our hands, and so that's why we would have to move forward with something like this. But we hope that even if we do have districts, that we can still maintain the camaraderie that we are trying to have here on the dais. So thank you for coming down.
Councilmember Goldstein.
So just given the constraints that we have to meet the time frames and requirements of the registrar of voters, I think we're constrained to agree and pass this resolution. The arguments in favor of district voting throughout California are certainly compelling, but I also want to say that what we've done here in Hayward to promote inclusivity and diversity, I think has been stellar. I think we have excellent representation through all of our boards and commissions, and it's been a stellar job. But still, the law says we got to go this direction, and so I think we should do whatever we can to make haste with it and be compliant with the law. That's certainly what we require of everybody else, and so we should, if we can, make that happen. But given the constraints that we see in front of us right now, I think we just don't have any choice but to say that this is going to be a 2026 thing. And I agree with Councilmember Syrup that trying to make it move any faster is going to really kind of grind the wheels of what we're asking our staff to do. It's complicated. It's not as easy as just passing a resolution and declaring it so. It's going to require some work, and it's got multiple levels of intricacies that I think, the public needs to be notified that it's district, and then they have to find who's going to run, and then they have to figure out how they're going to run, and it's a very complicated process, and we want to see our government work for our community, and I think to try to speed it up to 2024 could be too problematic. So I'm in favor of the resolution.
Councilmember Cermeño.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Marianne, for your comments. Very good. Thank you for the report. I want us to make sure that as we go through the process, that it becomes a community-centered process, and that every one of our 52,000 households is approached on what this is and what it could mean. We are a community, and it is for the community that we're here, for the whole city. So I'll be voting in favor of the resolution too.
Okay. I am not going to say anything about this. I am not happy that we're doing this. I don't think this is what the framers of the California Voting Rights Act had in mind. I don't think this is what Senator Richard Polanco had in mind. And what these two individuals, and just so that you know, Councilmember Goldstein, this isn't, we're not just following the law. We are being forced to engage in this because of Mr. Rafferty and Mr. Wu, for clarification. So with that said, Madam City Clerk, go ahead and call the roll.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Councilmember Andrews. Aye. Councilmember Bonilla Jr.
Aye.
Councilmember Goldstein.
Aye.
Councilmember Roach.
Yes.
Councilmember Sarab.
Yes.
Councilmember Cermeño. Mayor Salinas.
I'm voting no. So it passes 6 ayes, 1 no. Okay, moving on to next item is council reports and announcements. Are there any council reports and announcements? Councilmember Roach.
Thank you. I have my friendly Hayward Library update today. Did you know that Hayward Public Library offers story times for kids in several languages? These highly popular single language or bilingual story times in English, Spanish, Chinese, and American Sign Language are offered regularly. Visit the downtown or Weeks location to find out about these fun and interactive programs, or go to hayward.librarycalendar.com to find out about these and other children's programs that are free and open to all. Thank you.
Thank you. I believe we have Councilmember Syra.
Thank you, Mayor. I got a quick note from my mom to share that there's going to be a Hayward City staff members photo exhibition at the John O'Leary Galleria downstairs, just through the entrance of the City Hall front doors to the left, and also in the elevator area. The show is a ways away, June 5th to Wednesday, October 9th. However, this is really a call for artwork from our staff to participate in this art show. For anyone that's interested in this art show, please email Glenn Myers at gtmyers.art@gmail.com for more information. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't see any more. Oh, Councilmember Andrews.
Thank you. I won't mention Earth Day. We heard that quite a few times tonight. But I will mention that there is an Equity and Anti-Racism in Education Resource Summit at Chabot College Event Center on April 27th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And the address for that is 255555 Hesperian Boulevard. I might have said too many fives. But
No, that's it.
That's it? All right.
1, 2, and 4 5s.
It's 1, 2, 4, 5s at Hesperian. It is put on by Hayward Unified, Chabot College, and another group called ABA Art Influence. And if you want to sign up, feel free. Thanks.
Yeah, it's 2, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. Yes, that's right. Yeah. 4 5s, that's right. Okay, thank you. All right, so no other public or no other reports and announcements, and there are no council referrals. Ladies and gentlemen, that adjourns tonight's meeting. Our next meeting will be April 23rd, 2024. Until then, I will see you then, and have a good week.
Thank you.